Nice, isn't it?
That's nice.
My
Are we
new-
good?
Wow.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is a meeting of the Charter Review
Almost
Committee.
20 next year
It's
is our
Wednesday,
20th.
March 13th, 2019,
Wow,
7
that's even
p.m.
worse.
We are at the Ritter Building. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast over the Lunenburg Public Access Channel. I'll officially call this meeting to order. Minutes approval of March 6th. Did you send that out, Terry? So
March
we'll...
6th. That was last week.
Did I do the minutes last week?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't do
So
the
that
minutes
was-
last week.
Okay, so we'll have to
I know, but I didn't.
pass on
Like
that.
All right, I'll go back and I'll do those.
Our goal for tonight as a committee is to make decide on final recommendations. If all goes according to plan, tomorrow morning, legal has asked me to send them a copy of our recommendations. We'll meet with legal Monday/Tuesday, depending on whether we have to meet on Monday, in which to write the articles, so that we can get everything in time for the March 25th town meeting, whatever that's called, on that one. So, and there was something else I was going to say. Yeah, so, are there any board comments that would like to be... I need to add that, although Jim is going to add it, so never mind. Go ahead, board comments.
Jim's going to add.
We need to add to the agenda that we're going to discuss the minimum vote, because that has been, that's actually out of the...
Yeah, we took that out.
We took that out.
Well,
So-
that was one of the public comments, was
Right.
to reconsider that.
So-
So that's not something I need to add.
Okay, well, we're going to be adding that in, and Jim's done some work on that. Is there any...
No, I haven't done anything.
Then I guess I did some work on that. All right.
That was not my charge.
Okay. Is there anyone else who wants to add something?
I have a question. I know that I'm doing the pro keeping the town clerk elected. Who's doing the con?
I am.
Okay.
And I did want to discuss that tonight. Maybe we could, there's a handout in there, and I wanted to talk about the package that that Steve had sent out. So,
We can add that.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be near the end, because my thought was to go through the changes, when we get to those changes, to go actually through like the slides, because
Yep.
that's all the changes, and there are things we have to change and all that. And then I can keep a running copy of those changes to do tomorrow morning, so that I can send it to, if we're done tonight, we can send it to legal, so that he has a chance to look at everything. I did spend over an hour discussing a lot of these issues with legal today, and I'll bring that up as we go along. Okay, then.
Oh, wait. Last public comment, there was why is the Board of Selectmen in red? And why don't you just put it in the document comment, correct?
Say that again.
Why is the Board of Selectmen changing to Select Board? And why is that a red item? Why is that just not being changed as a purple or brown?
Oh, yeah,
That was
someone did
public
mention
comment,
that.
correct?
I believe when we were doing the process, and someone helped me out if I get this wrong, is that there was so much on both sides that as a committee, we decided to just let the town meeting decide.
Well, I think we have to
but-
I don't
discuss
think
it
so.
since then.
Yeah, so what
Oh,
can
yeah.
we have today?
Oh, yeah, that's on here because it's in here.
Okay,
The early discussion was that the brown items
right,
were non-controversial.
correct.
Which turned out not to be the case.
Okay,
So
That
I
is
think
true.
that's what we need to revisit.
okay.
right.
As far as the select board being in red, that was something that we thought would be controversial.
Do we think it really is?
Well, we didn't think it was until the first public hearing last year,
Select board?
right?
I think we were
No,
always
that's-
going to vote that.
Yeah, that one was one we were always going to bring forward.
That was
Yeah.
before we joined.
Well, we didn't think it was going to be controversial. I don't remember.
Yeah, I would tend to agree that just my recollection, which is fading fast, but was that we didn't think it was going to be we talked about it and we didn't think it was going to be a controversial. At the first public hearing, we found out it was more controversial than we thought it was, and then we started behaving as if it was red
Really
and controversial. Now, at the last public hearing, what I think you were referring to,
Yeah.
somebody brought up, hey, it's not that controversial,
Right.
why don't you just make it purple? And we
Yeah, and
we didn't
she's here.
deliberate on that
She's
at all.
here.
right?
She's here.
So,
She's here.
and as we go
Okay.
through all of
Yeah.
this, that is part of what we're going to go
Yeah.
through. So we will make sure when we get to
Okay. Because
town...
maybe
Yeah.
it's not that
selectmen,
controversial.
And we can put it anywhere.
And that would,
We were
right.
surprised people were apathetic about it.
Yeah.
That's what surprised us.
Yeah.
The people were like, oh.
And I think
care, and
that
then
at the last meeting, it wasn't that it should be purple, but that it should be actually just a correction of grammar.
Right.
So-
Right.
So it should actually even just be in the
A
first,
sign of the times.
not even a sign of the times, it's just bad language. But it's not
Outdated.
correct language.
Yeah, it's outdated.
So I have
Yeah.
two quick questions that kind of go along with this. Did we ever vote on the clerk as being part of the draft? I don't recall us ever taking a vote. I know at our first meeting we
Probably
did.
when you weren't here.
I think we did,
Okay.
yeah.
That was like right near the beginning. Correct me if I'm wrong again, but at the beginning...
It was after we started.
We had done a survey of the town, and it was discovered it was quite, and lots of people spoke about it, so we said, all right, we'll let the town decide.
I'm sorry, what's your question, though?
Well,
Town clerk
but
appointed
my
elected.
understanding was we were going to vote on things after we reorganized, seeing as we had 4 new
Okay.
members, that we were going to vote on all of this stuff, and I just don't remember voting on the clerk part.
Okay, and probably we didn't because it was already a separate vote that was already determined to go to town meeting.
We can vote on it again tonight.
But
Yeah.
either way, and then when we vote the draft in, are we going to vote on each of the 4 segments? Committee, if we vote to
Tonight-
recommend the draft,
Tonight or at town meeting?
either.
Both.
Either.
Yeah.
Tonight,
Both.
my thought was, we need to discuss sewer because they requested this 2 weeks ago, and I put it on the agenda. And then we were going to go through, just go straight through. Hopefully you brought your sheets.
Yep.
And we're just going to go through and say yay, nay, you know what, legal counsel says we should do this.
Okay.
We've had public comments on that. Do you want to change it?
Do we want to vote first to say, okay, the one that we think that we're just changing just for grammar and legal, do we want to go ahead and vote to recommend that one?
But we should
First.
quickly go over because
then-
one of them has...
Then do the purple, then do the...
I see what you mean.
So basically...
What am I, yeah, I'm just saying, are we going to take one vote that says this is the
We
draft,
can.
purple, brown,
Yeah.
red, and green?
We can, my thought...
No,
My thought was with the purple,
I
we
don't
could
know.
kind of go
Yeah, right,
over
right.
everything, and if someone said no, quickly, and say, no, I want to hold that one.
okay, let me just
All right.
just see if I can take a shot at it.
Go ahead.
There's 2 drafts that we have to vote on. One is the one that's just the legal and grammar changes.
Okay,
One is the purple.
okay.
And
No,
that-
No, that's purple.
That is purple.
Brown is the other.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
One is just the grammar and legal.
Purple.
One is the changes that we didn't think were
Substantial.
controversial.
Substantial,
Right.
but that we
No,
did not.
that's the same one. You keep saying the same one.
No, brown, that's brown.
Brown is not
So those are the 2
substantial.
drafts.
Brown is substantial, purple is just typo.
Purple is typo and legal.
Right, but you keep saying it like it's 3 different things.
It is, there's one draft that is just grammar corrections,
So
that we will...
And legal
Legal
compliance.
Isn't that
compliance.
purple?
Yes.
That's purple.
Yes.
Brown is substantial
Yes.
changes, that's a whole nother draft.
Including real.
Yeah. I didn't even say
Including
colors the
purple,
second time.
which includes purple. So there's just the purple, then there's the brown and purple. Okay,
No.
because, yes, because brown and the brown should contain the changes for the purple.
Only
Can I
if the
make a
purple is
suggestion?
approved.
Only if the purple
We
is...
go
All right,
through
let's
this.
just go.
Oh my God.
That's what I would like to do.
Then we go through this page by page and vote on it page by page.
That's what I wanted to do. It's not going to take long for most of it.
I think that's probably accurate.
We need to take...
Yeah,
We're not there yet, we're still doing the board concerns, but I'm getting to public comments.
but,
Go ahead. That's all right, I just want to make sure I follow this.
so if purple is not approved, but brown is, then the typographical errors...
Stay.
They all stay.
Yes,
The
and
legal
one of the
changes-
things-
How is that possible?
One of the things that I have to do, and legal is going to do, is to make sure that if we don't agree, if town meeting does not approve the purple, legal and typo changes, to make sure that it doesn't interrupt any of the ones that are voted in if we vote in brown, which are the substantial changes. Oh yeah, yes, I already know about that part. So tonight, I would like to go through
But I think you can make amendments on the...
On the floor,
I don't know why we wouldn't just have one be purple and brown.
Yes, no, at the town meeting, it will be one document.
Purple and brown.
It'll be one document. And then we have to, we would like to do the ones that most likely will just go through because there's no controversy, to make sure we at least get the typos in, and then go through the browns.
Okay.
I'm trying not to use brown and purple, but that's it. So, any other board comment? Now I can open up the public comment.
Hi, I'm Lockwood, and I'm on Main Street, and I appreciate the board, considering moving that last section falling into the first section. And I have sort of a question, which it was my understanding that the board was not going to take a position on recommending this change or not. Is that correct? Or is the board voting to make a recommendation?
I don't know, we'll find out when we get to it.
You guys.
The committee.
The committee, sorry. Okay. So, I listened to the last meeting. Today's my work instead of music. And it seemed like there was the first two sections of the proposed changes that you guys have so far. The language that I think Mr. Steve.
Mr. A. Steve.
Okay, there we go, that's good. The language you used is that the first couple sections, when you voted in, it is a suggestion, is your recommendation for those changes to take place. But it seemed like the town clerk in the last section, board of...
I've been operating under the assumption that this committee at one point decided that we had discussed the town clerk and the Board of Selectmen issue way more than we needed to when we were going to let the town decide.
Okay. So, I want to talk about public transportation here. It's going to be a funny one. I promise to be quick.
Okay.
So, anyway, if you think about a bus company, the job of a bus company is to get people from point A to point B, right?
Yep.
And hopefully safely. But, there was a time that people thought, well, I don't want to sit with these people. So the bus company went and put a sign there, colored people sit in the back. And if you think about it, the bus company was doing its job, getting people from A to B. But that doesn't mean it's right. So because people come up and make a big deal out of things that shouldn't be, should you really care about who's sitting next to you? No, we're all people. So I really, it's really emphasizing this thing that this is a language issue. The Board of Selectmen name was given to represent the people that were on the board and no longer represents it. Simple as that. And this board, I do feel like it needs to, say, ask the people that are controversial, that don't support this, what are your reasons for that? Because it makes no sense to keep a name that doesn't apply anymore. And, and I do feel like the board should take a vote. And, not be like the bus company. Look, all we care is to not have a fight in the bus, which also is logical. But, it's important for this board to kind of have an opinion and say, we find that this is to be a language issue. It's just the name no longer applies, and we recommend to change it. And let whoever has a problem with that make their case for that and let them stand. But I do feel like the board should take a vote to support the change or
Right,
not.
and I believe you brought up that maybe we should move that into the typo,
Or typo,
Gramo
yeah,
thing.
the
So, yeah,
purple.
we're going to
Purple.
go into that
All
when we
right.
get to it. But it's at the end of the document, so we'll wait till the end of the
All
document.
right, so I just want to, ask
Yep.
you guys to if it doesn't make sense, if it simply doesn't make sense, don't be the bus company. So, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ann.
Are there any other public comments?
Of course, there is.
Carl Luck, 50 Sunset Lane. First, on behalf of the Sewer Commission, I believe that the proposed changes to paragraph 2I could be the most significant changes to the charter that this commission is proposing.
4-2I, you need to say 4-2I.
4-2I, yes, thank you, Steve. And it could change the way our government, our current form of government works. Although I appreciate the significant amount of work that has gone into describing the changes for this specific change, the explanation on the website needs some work. It makes the change seem trivial and even in the town board's best interest, when in fact this could not be politically the truth. It's states, and I think you talked about it on the webpage, when you come up and get all the list of changes.
That change is old, and I keep thinking we have to redo it because that change is a year old. All those changes are a year old.
So you do have to redo it, because all it says is that it adds subject to written policies, which makes it sound like a great thing, but it is so much more than that. So if you could update that would help the public who might be looking at the web.
Well, that was on the agenda for me after this meeting when we actually have our recommendations. And I will write it down now. Keep talking, please.
Okay. I want to again reinforce the sentiment that was achieved several times by members of your committee. You seem to have a consensus of the committee. That is that only changes that are addressing a known problem should be considered and presented to the public. So again, who and what is driving this change in this paragraph? I have yet to hear anyone really advocate for it and why they're advocating for it, any change. I'd like to point out for your consideration of deliberations, that I did talk to legal counsel because I was unclear, the whole commission was unclear in terms of what jurisdiction meant. So his simple clarification was, it means full authority. So if you think of it in terms of full authority over all of those things, repair, maintenance, use, that's really what you're proposing. It's pretty profound. So that statement, in conjunction with the change that puts not only the rental and use under full authority of the town manager, but also puts maintenance repair, is a big issue. In today's charter, jurisdiction for repair and maintenance is only given to the town manager to the extent as authorized within each entity's charter, which is very appropriate. This would override or conflict with those individual charters for some boards, and particularly with the Sewer Commission. Based on this proposed language, the Commission would no longer have authority over maintenance or repair. This represents a very big change from the town charter having, in current town charter, having supervision over maintenance repair. So going from supervision to full authority is huge. For the past 13 years, the Commission has played a lead role in determining and funding the main projects for care and maintenance of the system. The Sewer Charter clearly states that the Commission, and I quote, shall make plans for the maintenance of a sanitary sewer system. Further, the Commission has responsibility for the budget and managing of the enterprise fund. With this change, the role of the Commission in determining actions and priorities would be significantly reduced, and the town manager would have full, unchecked authority to override Commission decisions. The need for a Commission would then become questionable, and perhaps that is the intent, I have no idea. For completeness, you may have seen Town Council's input on potential conflict. There was a question on potential conflict that was put to the Council in regard to the current Sewer Commission's charter regarding care and maintenance. His comment was basically that it could be confusing since the wording maintenance is used in both. The Sewer Commission discussed this and feels strongly that the difference between supervision and full authority is so great that there is no confusion and certainly no conflict. In the interest of full disclosure, the Commission has continued to discuss this as late as last night and is currently questioning even the current language regarding the town manager having full authority over the use of the sewer system, and are seeking Town Council input on that before modifying our position that we presented to you regarding our having no problem with the current language. And requesting the Sewer Commission be included, perhaps both request that they be included in the current language because of the use requirement. Whether the town manager does not have authority over the use of the sewer system. Commission. In addition to the Sewer Commission's request, I as a resident would again like to request that the committee consider giving the town a chance to be heard on the voting limit, and I'm very happy to hear that will be discussed tonight. So I look forward to that discussion. The only other thing, I would say I apologize for yet another lengthy comment, but given the process which this committee seems to have embraced, once public comment is over, no participation or input from the public is allowed. No other board or commission that I've sat with takes this hard a stance, and in fact, most commissions encourage public participation and input during the deliberations. As such, during your discussions tonight, particularly on paragraph 4.2i, this
Working
evening.
meeting.
I would like to respectfully request that I be allowed to provide input to the discussion as may be appropriate, based on the chair's input, or necessary to support the sewer commission's request or provide any additional information that I may be able to do on behalf of the commission. I look forward to your open-minded discussions tonight and decisions. Thank you.
Okay. We're going to address that right away. If everyone, any other public comment? So we're going to address that.
Rhonda.
I know, but
Okay.
we're going to address that one first.
Okay.
In the second page of my thing. Go ahead, Rhonda.
Okay, I also have Rhonda Lucio, 181 Reservoir Road. I also have a concern about section 4.2I, and I'm concerned about the broadness of the word rental and use.
I know.
As far as rental goes, and
We're not changing, are we?
I have thought of some examples. It's not a change, but I'm thinking
Yeah.
words are too broad
Okay.
for our current situation, I feel. I don't have a problem with the town renting space to PAC or the sewer commission or a government, part of the government. But we have a situation where in the future, we may be renting entire buildings to nonprofits or outside organizations or perhaps even businesses. And I feel that the townspeople should be able to have a say on whether or not they want to become landlords, want the town to become landlords of any kind.
Okay.
And as far as use, I don't know how, I can't remember how many months ago it was, but the use of the property by TCP for the skateboard park, that was a decision, a group of citizens came to the Board of Selectmen and they approved to move forward with that without any kind of public input or public hearing or even asking the residents on Memorial Drive whether they wanted a skateboard park that close to their house. So I just feel like these things are too broad and need to be more specifically renting to intergovernment agencies. She would have jurisdiction over that. But when it becomes bigger than that, it should be a town vote. And the use, that's changing the use of land without a vote by the town, that chunk of land at TCP, to be used as a skateboard park. And I just feel that should be done by vote of the town as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Those are my comments.
Thank you very much. Any other public comment? Then, following our agenda, if you look, it says discuss 4.2I. If you go to the second page of my packet that I gave you, and we will open this up to discussion. I had quite a lengthy discussion with legal counsel today, and we came to the conclusion and then I contacted town manager, and if you look partway down, it says, town manager suggests no change, leave as is. There have been no past issues and sees no reason to change. We just need to delete the library trustees because they have changed their whole focus. I talked to legal counsel about this at quite at length today. He gave me all kinds of information, and basically it boiled down to we should just keep it as is and just take out library trustee at this point. That would be my recommendation, and I have to agree with legal counsel on that one. So I'll open that for discussion from the board.
So during the public hearing, I was charged to rewrite that.
Yes.
I did provide in this packet
All right.
a
Clean version.
a proposed language that would basically read to have full control over the rental, use, maintenance, or repair of all town facilities, and property except under the control of school committee and conservation commission. Such control should be subject to authorizations provided by written policies set forth by elected officials who maintain responsibility for facilities and property by virtue of their elected role. Which I think might address Mr. Luck's concern about sewer commission or anybody else who is elected to a position that has control over a property. They can write procedures that allow the town manager under what circumstances they can rent or change use.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate the work you put into this, and certainly all the work that's been done by Sewer Commission and others. I think one of the things that it's interesting, I think we have to be careful. We've been asked, do we approve, do we not approve, are we going to vote to recommend or not recommend? I really think our job here is to determine what parts of the town charter are going to be reviewed by the town at town meeting. And I think the thing that instructed me a little bit was the moderator saying, you know, what he was only going to accept amendments, etc., in the context of the warrant article. So I would suggest that unless it's the opinion of this committee that something is critical to be part of the town meeting discussion, it's not a voting on whether we like it or don't like it. It's should it be a warrant article. And based on what town council just said and based on what I've heard from both public hearings, I'm inclined to say we shouldn't change anything in the charter unless we think it's critical to change.
Yes.
And while Jim, I think your language improves it,
Yeah.
I would recommend that we don't change it. We just leave what's in there and not change anything.
Except for the library trustees?
Well, even the library trustees I wonder about a little bit, but
Yeah.
you know, if that's important enough to have a discussion about it, fine, but why?
But it's not...
And I don't have any problem with changing it in 4.2i.
Right.
I just wonder, do we want, I don't feel qualified, I guess, to look at all the purple that they did, or brown, or whatever it was, under their library trustees thing.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I believe what is
In 4.2i, to keep on point,
Yep.
I have no problem with making the one change to say library trustees.
Because I think they've already written that in. I think...
Yeah, but they don't get to write it in. It's the charter.
Well, right. And I
You know?
think basically, yeah, their position was that they were already no longer responsible for the building.
Right.
So I think that's why they had suggested taking the library trustees out. So I think I can support that. I can support making no change other than taking the library trustees out.
So what does it read like if it makes no change? Is there...
Exactly like it says here.
I have a 2009 charter.
This is from the 2009 charter. If you look, it says, the 2009, no.
Here, the bottom.
Charter up here.
Do you want me to just read it? I'll just read it.
Recommendations, this is what they're
Okay, so
coming up with now.
the way that it currently reads, it says, to have full jurisdiction over the rental and use of all town facilities and property except property under the control of the school committee, the library trustees, and the conservation commission, and shall be responsible for the maintenance and repair of all town buildings and facilities placed under its control by this charter, bylaw, vote of the town, or otherwise.
Why does it say this?
That's the original.
That's the original.
Why does it say selectmen?
I know.
Oh, because
That's
we...
what I'm talking about.
So
What's
basically,
that?
This is
Like,
town... I'm sorry, what?
Nothing.
It refers to his control.
Yeah, well...
I have a circle around that. That to me kind of automatically becomes purple.
Yeah, right?
Right.
We have to correct that.
So...
Under the control of the town manager.
Of the town manager, yeah.
Control
Placed
of
under
the town
town
manager.
manager's
Town
control.
manager.
we're under the
That's
town
from the
manager's control.
2009 charter.
Right.
So our draft doesn't have that language, correct? Because we're working
Correct.
off of this version. of
Right,
4.2.
okay.
We're working on the second one that's in
With
Steve's
the
packet. But the recommendation is to go with the third one that's
Which
here.
is, and it has his.
Well, because that was the original, and,
Right.
you know, I had also circled his, but...
And you struck library trustees.
Right, because the library is no longer under its own.
And the only reason I bring this up is because I was asked to do so in the last
I know, yes.
meeting. So I have no problem with the proposed language, changing his to town manager.
So
And
this gives
striking
the
the
town
library.
manager
And striking library trustees.
full jurisdiction
Oh,
over
I'm sorry.
everything that's already
Yeah.
placed under his control by the charter.
This one.
It's what was in the original
It
2009.
makes no
No
change.
change.
No change, it just takes
So
out
it's not part of an article, it's not part of the discussion on town meeting, it's the charter and it stays the charter.
Except we have to take out library.
Library
Well, you don't
trustee.
really have to,
And
because
then,
it's,
this is your version, Jim?
Well,
Yes.
yes, that little,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I was just confused because I thought we were looking at the third one on this.
Oh,
So,
So,
I didn't know that he had done that.
no, and you know what, I'd only done it today after extensive conversation with legal counsel.
So I'd like to hear from Mr. Luck. Is this acceptable to the sewer commission?
Yeah, no, I know it by heart by now. And I appreciate what you did to try to plug that hole in the language in your proposal here. But to leave it as is where the commission is formally right now. The only hesitation was what I mentioned, that it occurred to us, and maybe the council can go away, that even the current charter says that the use is under the full jurisdiction of the town manager.
Unless it's basically, yeah, if there's a bylaw change to make it under the sewer commission.
Yeah, so I suspect we can fall back to the regulations, which require, you know, so I just always get nervous, you know, with your statement of the hierarchy of things. I would have thought that in the hierarchy of documents, the town charter was at the top, and that if things below
It is.
like regulations and policies are so far down, you can't even...
Right, but since it refers to the bylaw in particular, so unless it's already assigned otherwise by the bylaw, then it's no longer under the town manager's
So
jurisdiction.
I think it's okay, it's a current position.
Basically, it's
I'll go away.
the same thing that you've been operating under 10 years.
Version on Jim's proposal. So the third paragraph on that.
I think it's trying to do the right thing, but it hangs on, you know, a policy by a commission cannot override the charter.
No, it's setting the policy for the town manager.
Yeah, the implication would be that the sewer commission could write a policy that says you don't have control over it, and that wouldn't...
Well, the
Well, no, but
policy would
what-
be, you have control under these circumstances.
Yes. And then otherwise it falls to sewer
The circumstance
commission.
would be under sewer commission approval.
Right, exactly.
And that's enough.
Basically
And that would-
overriding the charter.
No,
Not really.
No, because it's part of the charter, at least part of the charter would say it's subject to those policies. So it's not overriding the charter, it's providing more authority. The way I intended to write
Right.
this was to provide more authority to the elected bodies to say, under these circumstances, you can do these things.
I think the intent is great. I think it becomes a legal issue, and it's cleaner to leave the way it is.
Okay. Yes.
Based on...
We need to, at this point, as much as I've been told, we are under a time constraint, and if we had another year, I would love to flush this out, but we do not have another year, so...
And I think you just saved yourself probably at least a half an hour to an hour of time.
Right.
Okay, so, with that done...
So I would make a motion that
Yes.
we not change section 4-2I, except that we will delete the library trustees.
And replace his with town manager.
Managers.
Yes.
So that we're...
Second,
Discussion.
So which one are we doing?
4-2I.
The recommendation.
Right down here.
The bottom one, that one.
No, we're not making any change.
Yes.
Let's not go with any,
we're going on 4-2.
we're not making any changes.
You don't
We're
wanna make
making-
any changes.
We're making library trustees out and his change.
But
And
there
that's
are
it.
changes.
That's really
Yeah,
nothing.
but we're not changing it.
Those are-
We're changing everything else.
That's purple.
Those
Yeah.
are purple
That
changes.
should be
Those are purple changes.
And I'm going to write that down. Perfect.
Okay, so
And-
anyway, so we have a motion and a second and discussion?
No, can we just...
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
That sounds unanimous to me, which meets the supermajority thing. If everyone could please go to the beginning of the packet. In talking to legal counsel this afternoon, it would be page 2 if you've numbered it. It's beginning of the document. Yeah, the big packet.
Big packet.
I'm going to use the big packet.
Now he's
if
all
that's
right.
possible.
Using the slides, okay.
Slides. Town council came back to me and said, I'm going to apologize, I gave you wrong, misinformation. I had to dig really hard. In 1987, we were under home rule. In 1999, we were under home rule. And in 2009, Lunenburg decided to go under the special charter thing. Special...
That sounds like a technical term.
No, they changed it from... No, just so you know, under home rule... Under home rule, this committee has to be voted by ballot. And you can only vote the charter up or down. That's where Bob got that.
Okay.
In 2009, they went under special charter home rule.
Special.
So that has
Super special
totally different rules, which is what we're operating. So, at line 18 should say, Charter of the Town of Lunenburg, to match the term that we had crossed out, that we thought was wrong. It should say Charter of the Town of Lunenburg, because we are now under Special Act, which is a totally different set of rules, and supersedes mass legislation and all that.
All right, but that's not a change, right?
No, it's just that, yes.
It's the purple.
We have to change line 18.
But we have to change line 18, and that's just for legal.
That would be legal, that would be under purple.
And line.
Right here.
Well, wait a minute. Wait, yeah,
Right
wait.
here.
But
This
we
right
were
here.
charter of the town of Lunenburg originally, right? So we
Yeah.
don't have to change anything.
An act relative to the charter of the town of Lunenburg is what it says in 2009.
What,
Which is correct.
section 1, 2,
Yeah, so
short
we're
title?
not making any changes.
Yeah, what does it say in section 1, 2, short title? Short title.
We have to change the short charter.
Okay, fine.
We
Okay.
have to change that.
Okay.
What happened is...
So what is this purple then?
That was what legal counsel said to do
Oh.
originally, and then he said, I researched it more.
And get rid of the
Delete
second.
second.
So he had it backwards, because Lunenburg in 2009 switched how it did it. And you see how I have a picture of the home charter there? When I researched it, it was
1987.
under home charter. So it's just to switch.
Shouldn't that be the same?
Looks like a yearbook,
Okay.
It does.
right? It looks like a yearbook right there.
It does. You should go to town hall and see it. It's a,
So do we want a motion on that?
yes.
I would move that we change line
18.
18 in section 1.2 short title to
Match line.
cited as the charter of the town of Lunenburg.
Second.
Discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 1.4, division of powers, we recommended change to registered voters of town.
Wait.
Just as a clarification,
Where are we?
I'm on the next page. 1.4,
In the slide deck.
The second
Okay.
box.
Oh, registered, I see it now, it's purple.
I'm sorry. I'm just quickly going through
No, line
purple.
29.
Line 29, I should have said that, yes. I would... Do you...
Oh, I see.
We can do each one separately. Do you want to, at this point, go through them, and if you want to hold one out, then we can at least vote all these in except for the ones, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so no discussion on that.
No.
The next page, 17G, was just clarification in purple that it was a Commonwealth of Massachusetts, not just the Commonwealth. That's more of a typo legal thing. Section 2.3, you have to go to the next page for the explanation, but at the bottom of the page, this is under Finance Committee, and the powers and duties looks like it's under general committees, but it's actually a Finance Committee thing. So we just wanted to put Finance Committee in front of it to clarify that we are talking about Finance Committee.
Okay. Next.
Throughout the entire document, we, as a board, recommended to change any reference to months to specific days and year to specific days to help clarify timelines for all the different boards. Throughout the document and these various things, to change affirm to ratify, because ratify is the actual term, which means to confirm, to vote, whatever, ratify. Formally sanction, which is more what we're looking for in this document. The next page, school committee came and wanted to change elect to appoint, because in fact they actually appoint a superintendent. They do not elect. Elect means voting. In this case, election in our document means voting by like the town. Cemetery commission, the change to insert sole into their to match Mass General Law. The next page, 42J, there was an awkward phrase that said 5 fiscal years next ensuing. Our recommendation is just to say for the following 5 years, which grammatically makes more sense. 42M, our recommendation was just to delete Chapter 30B, Section 103 of Chapter 41. At the time, people just felt it might be overly specific.
It is.
It is, because the mass
It
keeps
still
changing.
refers general laws, so...
Yeah, it's general laws, so it's just kind of just saying it. 53D5, Department of Finance. This one, I think we need to hold in abeyance.
Why?
Why?
Because
I know there was
discussion about it.
However,
And
if the person agreed with Terry on the reason.
It's actually, it doesn't need to be there, but it doesn't change anything, but it's there in case there's a change, I guess, in the town.
Right. I mean,
So, there's no reason to follow Jamie, to follow your thing, there's no reason to take it out of
So we're going to leave that in?
53D5.
So then would we want to keep it as specific to Section 103 of Chapter 41?
No.
Or do we want to say
Yes,
it's
general laws.
provided by general laws?
I don't even...
What are we
I have to
talking
look at the whole thing.
53D5,
Division of procurement.
Division of Procurement.
Division. Right here.
Yes, in 883.
Okay, so we're going to leave it in and take
So,
out the reference
yeah, but we have to take it out if we're going to vote on everything else. So why don't we...
Wait.
Unless we amend it.
I'm just looking for the original language.
That is the original.
No, the original is the administrative organization. So we have a whole chapter on Department of Finance and Financial Services. So I think that was why it was coming out.
It was coming out, if you look at the next slide, because the department per se never really existed. And it's under the town accountant finance director already.
Well, actually, the town manager is the chief procurement
Yeah.
officer.
Right.
So she is the department. I mean, basically, we could just leave it, and then
Yeah, that's
basically everything just
And
falls
for the
under her.
purposes of
there's no
the
reason to
general...
remove
All right,
Then it's
so I would love a motion that says,
It's just redundant. Right?
we would like to keep this, can we do that as a sub-motion?
Let me just find...
No, no.
All right, to keep it in, but just remove Section 103, Chapter 41, and Chapter 30B,
30B, like we did in
and
the
just
other
say
ones,
general
yeah.
laws? Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So
Just
we are-
take out,
The
Well, then we
reference.
are changing it.
So moved.
well,
Purple, we're removing it purple.
Hold it.
We're going to change it purple.
I think what happened was here, you're just quoting Section M of 4.2, which is, so this language doesn't exist in Section 5.
Yeah, but it does. In the 2009,
yep.
it does exist.
The chapter
Yep,
law?
it's right here,
The law stuff.
right here.
Yeah.
Oh, I see,
Yeah,
so it's
right here.
section... All right, so...
So why don't we just leave it as is?
Okay.
just leave it in.
Leave it as is.
No, but wait a minute, why can't we do it like we did on all these other ones, where we just dropped the 30?
Yeah.
30
Yeah, but if we aren't
days?
even using it, do we?
Well, no,
Okay.
you should still just...
All right.
You have to, it's consistent.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
All right.
it's inconsistent.
All right.
We'll just, I'll accept a motion to
So moved.
only drop the section instead of delete.
Specifics.
This
The
is
specifics.
the general
Drop specifics.
103.
I make a motion that we leave
Yeah, I think- yeah.
the 5 divisional
Leave it.
procurement the same, but just eliminate the specific references to specific general laws and just state the mass general laws.
Second.
All right, discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that was a sub-motion. We're still doing all of the purple, okay? So if you go 6.4, budget message, an incorrect usage of the word affect, it should be effect, and I had the reasons there.
Wait, where are we?
On page, the next...
6-4.
6-4.
What's that?
Keep going.
Okay.
You got, I'm
Got it.
just turning pages.
Yeah, got it.
I'm just turning pages.
Line 936.
936. The next page, 6.5, budget. In the presentation of the budget, the town...
I'm sorry, I'm behind here.
Okay.
Page
6.4.
15.
So the two slides are...
There are two slides on the one thing.
Yeah.
That was a mistake there. No, it's
But they're two
because...
different sections.
Right,
That's 42M,
right.
and that's...
Did I
It's
skip
not
one?
skipped over that 5.3.
Oh, I'm sorry, 5.3G5, thank you very much.
Thank
No, no,
you.
no,
That's what
well,
you made a motion on.
No, we
Yes.
made a
No,
motion on this one.
That's fine.
but that's the same thing.
Oh.
This is section 42.
This is,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
that's what had me
So
confused.
that's
Yeah.
what the change
Showing
will
it's the
be.
same.
The
Okay.
second slide is what we just voted.
Line 886, kind of. And
We
now,
made changes to lines 683 and 684.
that
We did
too.
it, but
All
we should.
scratched out, goes back in,
Yeah.
Right.
except
I saw the numbers on two, I thought it was the same
This.
slide.
Yes.
Yeah,
This is
right.
different
Yeah,
No,
lines.
no, the M's related to 40.2,
So it's not
not to
strict.
5.3.
Right.
This is under the town manager, this
Right.
is under...
4.2,
Department of
basically, he was just
totally
quoting the town manager where
Right here,
the town
4.2.
manager is the chief general officer.
So, we should
No,
probably,
I get
For
that.
consistency,
Right.
just remove
Yeah.
this too.
we're just going to remove.
Totally
D5.
skipped this.
Right,
So we leave it in with the language as modified.
right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right.
So I will just have it struck out. It will just be struck out in the,
The section 103.
it'll just be struck out, so
Yes.
people will know that's what we're doing. Okay, so now I'll go to 6.4.
Thank you.
Thank you for catching that.
No, I'm just
No,
trying
that's
to keep
glad.
up here.
I'm working quickly, because the brown is what we really need to do. Affect to effect. 6.5, the budget, antiquated language. In the
I don't think there's
presentation
any
of the
reason to
budget.
change that. I want the town manager to utilize modern concept of fiscal presentation so as to
Okay.
furnish maximum information and the best financial control. I
It's
don't.
fine.
So,
I don't see any reason to change it.
Yeah, well,
so,
leave
Does
that.
anyone see a reason to change it?
No?
all I have to do is just put it back into black.
Yeah,
Correct.
Yes.
So I'll make a motion that we revert to the original language.
Revert
Second.
to original. I'm glad you're going to email me this.
Yeah, well, this one might take a little cleaning up.
It's all right. 7, 8.
No, we didn't vote.
That
all
was Terry, Jamie?
Yes.
Terry, Jamie.
Sorry. And discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. 7.8B agendas. We're talking at the very bottom of that, line 1081, just taking out in accordance with the general
We're
laws.
taking it out, we're
Oh, we're
adding.
adding. Sorry. Adding.
We're talking about the brown later.
Right here.
Yeah.
Brown later, yes.
We're doing purple.
Just doing purple.
Right.
The next page, 7.8C, procedures governing multiple member bodies. We're using journal at the moment in our charter. It should be minutes, and that's actually public law. That's what they do in the law, so that should be it. And last, it's the same thing.
That was the last.
That's the last.
That was.
So, I would love to entertain a motion to accept all the purple recommendations
So
as
moved.
modified.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nice try.
All right,
Friday.
so we have at least one thing done. Okay, if you keep and skip over my intro and all that, we eventually come to page 23, if you've numbered them, which I did, mine, just in case. Section 17, new definitions. Is everyone on that page?
Yes.
And I can do this. Oops, no, I can't. I gotta go backwards. I'll do this, so we all start on the same spot. 17, new definitions.
Yes.
Okay, since we've decided we wanted to use days, we need to add that to our definitions. By adding it to the definitions, all the rest of them get re-lettered, so that we don't go A, B, C, C, D, E, F, G. So that would be the change. It was our recommendation a while back to put this in.
Why is it brown?
Because it's an substantial change.
Substantial change, not controversial. Okay.
We can make it purple if you want, because we are changing the days in the other part. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that would be a good purpose.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
object to
fine.
that.
It's just clarifying.
Well, I would accept a motion on that.
I have no idea how to state the motion. How do you state
How
the
do we
motion?
change it from brown to purple?
Make a motion to change C, day or days, refer to standard calendar days, unless otherwise specified, to a purple change. Grammatical or...
Second.
Discussion? All right, we'll make that one purple.
All right.
So, all in favor?
Oh, yeah, all in favor?
I'm sorry, who made
Me.
the motion?
Me.
And who seconded?
Jim.
Jim?
Heather and Jim.
Thank you.
I apologize, we're going fast.
Yeah, I just need to catch up.
And then 1.7, a new definition. We needed to clarify what a quorum was, and so it was suggested by our board to put a simple majority of the entire authorized complement of a multiple member body, so that people who are actually having meetings, if there are 3 people sick, they're still
Why can't we
considered
make that
part of the
Let's make
thing.
it purple.
We want to make that purple.
Yeah, come on.
Then, please.
Purple.
Make a motion.
I make a
Make a
motion
motion.
that we put section 17K definition, quorum, a simple majority of the entire authorized complement of a multiple member body unless some other number is required by law or bylaw.
Second.
Discussion. In favor?
Aye.
Just so you know, I was charged with changing a lot of things to divide them up, and that was probably a purple at one point, but it was, to me, I said it might be a major change, so that's why I might have done it that way. Okay, 2.3b, Finance Committee request.
I'd like to hold that.
Well,
Or we
we're
will
doing the
discuss-
brown one at a time,
All right.
because we're going to hold like 19 of them, so.
I think it should be who are residents, that you should not be registered to vote.
The existing charter, though, requires you to be a registered voter.
Only to be a member of town meeting.
You cannot,
Because
because
the finance committee, they're an advisory board at the town
No, it's,
meeting.
read it.
They're-
Well, no. If you are a member of town meeting, you are a registered voter.
So because you're...
So, but the finance committee is an advisory board, you don't have to be a member of
I'm
town
pretty
meeting.
sure it's...
Right, no, it doesn't state it. It doesn't. The reason why, what Mark had introduced, and I had not considered, was that Section 2 identifies the legislative body of the town.
Right,
And
which
because
is town
that
meeting.
And because that fell under it and exists nowhere else in the charter, then basically that's why the question came up.
I feel like...
Finance Committee is defined within Section 2-3, which is the same section that lays out town meetings.
I think that the town is, it's a perfect example right now. We are denying the town great resources when we allow only registered voters to be on the finance committee.
And so,
It's right now, it's the current situation.
Well, actually, we're not, only in the sense that, well, we can talk about that later, but...
I remember having this conversation not too long ago, and I agreed with you that as an advisory board, that they shouldn't have to be voting registered voters. What I heard was that there is a fiduciary element to the finance committee that authorizes transfer of funds. And in that case, I believe we talked about the need to have a registered voter to do that job. Does that ring any bells with anyone?
Yes.
Yes.
So is that, and so that's when I changed and agreed with the registered voters, because I believe the fiduciary responsibility outweighs
Talent.
well, in a way, it's the advisory piece to
Right.
me.
I tend to agree with Phyllis on this. I really thought, I think it didn't matter if you voted, whether you're registered to vote. I really think good people are good people. You know, they bring something to the committee. And to take that out, we want more people. We need more people. And I just don't understand that whole fiduciary. I know you guys have made it, and I just can't figure out
I mean, if-
where that is.
Just for
and that
clarification, though,
really-
we can take out the registered voter, but you still have to be a registered voter unless we change section 2.1. Because
No, you basically,
picking
Correct,
up
right?
on what Mark said.
And I was going to ask Steve if that's something that he asked town council to clarify.
Okay.
because haven't we gotten different opinions from different town councils? So
The whole reason for this was just to make it clear.
I think, okay, basically, all right, if the position, the initial position was that because it falls under Section 2, and because that identifies the legislative branch, and because, and to be honest, part of me was also thinking into the future, if we ever went to a representative town meeting, typical finance committees are appointed with it, like at that point by representative town meeting, are town meeting members. That's just basically the way that goes. In which case, it would have to be a registered voter of the town. The fact that whether we spell it out here or we don't, the interpretation, there's going to be an interpretation. The interpretation is either going to be, somebody's going to look at that and say it's a legislative branch and there's fiduciary responsibilities, or it's going to be, no, it's open so it can be anybody. So it's basically, it comes down to, I'll state the position of the Finance Committee. Again, it was that their preference would be that it be someone who is a registered voter of the town. They see no detriment to having like one or two members who are not. The concern would be if we get to the point where there's more members who are not, because we're not even asking, that could potentially raise a concern. The other concern that flagged it was that the town clerk expressed a concern. So that was the first place that we heard that there was a potential issue. So,
well, even if it's under the legislative group, the Finance Committee is not a legislative body.
right, the town meeting is the legislative body.
Right. And the Finance Committee is an advisory group to the legislative body.
But
I mean, even worst
In the
case,
context
you
of town
have
meeting.
him, maybe he doesn't sit with you at town meeting, if there's an issue with that.
Well, but that, he has to be able to
Silly.
advise, if he has to hold up a card, he can't vote.
Right. That's all.
But
But can he vote on whether the Finance Committee recommends or not?
No. I thought
Yes.
that would be, that would be the rule.
He can vote on a recommendation. So that's basically, that was the finding of the lawyer at the time. So I think I can be comfortable removing it, not because, for no other reason than if there's a lack of clarity now, that we can clear it up. But the interpretation to me is the issue. If the town council interprets it to be that it doesn't matter who's on the finance committee,
It is also one attorney's opinion, the former
One
town
we pick.
council.
Just so
But
you know.
the former town council we.
But he's our town council, that's what we pay him for.
Yeah.
I
No, and your opinion is no better than his, but that's what we pay him to do. What?
Our former town council that we paid to do the job felt the other way. So, town council vary in their opinion. I think the town is losing, and the current situation is a perfect example. We're losing qualified, intelligent people that can help the town for no reason.
Are we?
And
There's not a reason, they're not registered to vote, that's the reason.
but we're also,
But they're residents.
but that's not why we're
But to
losing.
clear up
He's
whether
moving.
prior council or current council
But
believes
it's just
one
an
thing,
example.
we need,
I understand.
I think we should be specific
Mhm.
and clear the language.
Yeah.
That way, there's no ambiguity for any council to say it
It's
should be
not-
one way or the other.
Right, it's not misinterpreted.
Right.
So I'll entertain any motion.
And this is only as it pertains to the finance committee.
Right.
So it's
Correct.
not like we're making a sweeping change and saying you can't serve on any committee. It's particularly finance
Just
because of
one.
the financial aspect of things.
But the finance committee is a really important committee, and you should have your brightest people on the finance.
They care enough to register to vote.
Yeah.
But they may not be
Still say that.
able to register.
Or they may just not want to. I mean, that's the other thing.
Or they may-
There are those people who don't want to be called for jury
So-
duty.
They can't start judging.
And I served on the finance committee for a very short time, but I know there's fund transfer
Yes.
issues that you do at certain times a year.
Yes.
Playing devil's advocate, if you have a meeting, you have 4, so you have a quorum,
Yes.
and you need to take a vote to transfer funds, and he's not a registered voter, he or she at the time, does that render the committee unable to perform?
Yes.
And
And
that's
I
where,
just bring it up because the planning board is in that situation right now. We need a supermajority for special permits. We have a member going out for surgery, another member resigned.
Right.
We can't issue special permits. We're
You have
dead
no
in the water
quorum. Yeah.
for about a month, roughly. And so that's the thought process behind it, I guess. Is would that ever be a situation where you have winter meetings where the attendance isn't quite there and so on? Do you ever feel like you'd be in a situation where you have 4 but one can't vote? And would it have an impact? I mean, can you just transfer the funds of...
well, Mark would have a better understanding of that since he worked with a short finance committee.
It was always a challenge, getting a quorum and sustaining the vote.
So, as I said earlier, I would entertain any motion anyone would like to make at this time.
I'd like to make a motion that we remove registered to vote in town,
Is there a second?
prominent residents.
I'll second that.
It's been seconded. Discussion.
I thought that was all the...
Well, I always have to say discussion.
So
Yeah.
in our interest of providing clarity, then the Finance Committee should be 7 members that are residents. So we would be making a change to the charter in the
Yes.
interest of being clear.
If we decide to put in residents, we don't have to put in residents.
Well, if we leave it like it is, it's ambiguous. And somebody could argue one way or the other, and town council could rule one way or the other. And to Phyllis's point, depends on who town council is at the time, it could rule one way and then a different way. And that's not a good situation for anybody.
So,
Or you could say 7 taxpayers, because everybody wants to make sure that recommendation is being made by somebody who's got some skin in the game.
Well, presumably, if they're a resident, they're paying tax. one
Well,
way or
unless they live
another.
at, Emerald Place or Tri-Town.
But correct.
I'm just kidding. At this point, I'm just...
all right.
Well, you know,
So-
we gotta pick it there, right? We gotta pick it there.
We've had...
My mother is basically, yeah.
I'm sorry?
Move the question.
Yeah, actually, I was going to ask for an amended motion.
You're going to amend the motion? Motion to add,
To say residents,
To say that 7
residents.
members who are residents,
In that same thing?
yes,
Consists of 7 members who are residents appointed for a term.
3 years and leave
And then
it
get
out of
rid
the
of
other
the
one.
And then get rid of the
leave
current
it out
round.
of...
And leave it
Take out
in.
who are
Oh, I was reading the original charter.
Right.
Oh, okay, so
We were going to add this.
basically...
She's saying to take that out.
Why can't we vote on?
I think that basically, okay, so what she's doing is she's saying, she's making a motion to revert to the original language, and he's amending it to say 7 members who are residents of the town.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just moving it and putting that in a different spot.
Yeah.
Oh, who seconded that?
I did.
Are you okay with that
Yes.
amendment? Discussion. All in favor of not including and who are residents registered to vote in town, but instead putting 7 members who are residents? 7 members who are residents. who
appointed for terms of 3 years.
are town residents, right?
So,
Well, I guess we're...
Resident is defined.
so at that
All
point,
right.
we don't have an age restriction either.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay. Just for...
Well, we don't have one on anything else.
But we do have,
Registered voters
A
would
registered
need
voter
18.
would be.
but we do have an appointing authority that can qualify
hopefully know
somebody
that.
based on age.
Yeah. Is there a math?
They can appoint anybody they feel is...
Yeah, so if there's a
Okay.
16-year-old math whiz, we'll take them.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, I,
You didn't vote.
no.
You
I
have to
didn't,
vote.
because I was
You're
going to.
supposed to.
Because now I need to see hands, because it has to be supermajority out of 9, we need 7, correct?
6.
6. Sorry, thank you,
And
6.
you probably also have to name them if it's not unanimous, don't you?
Yes, in the record.
Yes.
Right. So
If
all,
you raise your hand, I'll capture
all in
your name.
favor of keeping the original and just saying residents, raise your hand, please. We have 3. All who oppose? Okay, so wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6.
Jamie raised.
6.
Speaking.
That's a supermajority. So, at the moment, we now have, do we want to include and who are residents registered to vote in town?
I would make a motion that we change it to, and do our residents registered to vote in town.
I will second that motion.
Okay. Discussion on that? Okay. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Opposed? 3. So that's going to stay in.
I'm sorry, who had the second? Jamie made the motion?
Stay in Brown. Okay. We go to 2-4 time meeting. Oh, town council and I had quite the long conversation. Just so you know, I could go, we spent literally a half an hour on this. He has not heard of any other town in Massachusetts who has a second town meeting. He said this could be very confusing. He said the legislature may not approve it because...
All right, we need a new council.
Yeah. And he said because you have to do 2 budgets, 2 financial reports, because
Oh,
if
they
you
all
call it
have
a
to be
town
in
meeting,
Really?
people can then say, you need to do all the reports and everything that a regular town meeting has.
Wow.
Even though we put it, he said though, if you're going to include it,
Yeah.
wait, he said if you're going to include it, that this is the best way of writing it.
Yeah, well,
But,
Okay.
I mean, that's very expensive.
that's...
All of that takes way...
His example for me, just so you know, his example for me is you do it as a second town meeting, it only has to be posted 7 days in advance. Special town meeting is 14. A resident decides that the vote didn't go their way and takes it to court because it is an annual meeting, but it's not the annual meeting. Therefore, it must go under special. And he said, so, because I was all in on this until he started explaining some of that.
All right, well, basically, the only reason why it was brought up initially was because it had been seen as a
Solution.
Yeah.
as a solution that existed on several town websites, that the second town meeting
Yeah, but you know
was
what?
happening in the
But
fall.
you know what it was? It was a second special town meeting.
No,
No,
it was
not.
not
That
a
was
special
town meeting.
town meeting. It
Maybe
was-
they called it a second town meeting, but it was actually a special town meeting.
No, it was probably a continuation of the first, because special town meeting has its own rules. and
Rules.
Its own rules.
Right, and that's why we're avoiding it.
So,
Right.
he said this is the best way to put it. In his estimation,
Trying to think
the
of that one.
legislature could bump it out because of this.
And I think we should, I make a motion that we not make the change to a second annual town meeting.
So I know
I
that's...
would second that.
Okay, now we can discuss it.
I think the purpose was to, whether it's going to work or not, increase participation, be able to plan better, to
Yep.
know you were going to have a second, all those good things. If it creates all this aggravation, I think we can handle it in process and procedure as opposed to charter.
Right.
So I support.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one of those where I think it's a lose-lose.
Yeah.
Right.
If we win, we still lose
Yeah,
on that
sounds
one.
like
So, all in favor
We refer
of
Making no
taking
change.
out 126 through 130? Aye. All in favor of taking it out?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So that passes. We do have, at the line 125, because I have to bring
That
this up,
was
it
and
says,
time.
on a date and time. Do you want to keep and time? That is
No,
added
because we
in.
just took it all out.
Was and time added? So just-
Yes, it's added.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm just making sure,
Right.
because that was on a different line.
Oh, I'm sorry, wait a minute, okay, so,
See it, how it says... and-
125. The first line, the original says on a date
I know, why
fixed
would
by
that be round
bylaw.
anyway?
We were adding
But still,
date
you know,
and time.
it's just obviously
We
you
don't
can have
have
it at a
it.
certain time, you know?
Well, we should have it.
okay, so, okay, I see what we're
A
doing.
date fixed by bylaw is fine, because the bylaw happens to fix the time.
Exactly,
Oh.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So that one is gone.
That's good.
Okay.
Next page, 27B, initiation of warrant articles. This is, following what we're doing now, a written or electronic copy to be provided to everyone, and we're taking out mail to the residents of the chairperson and finance committee. The old way of getting all the warrants was to mail it to everybody. Now we're doing it electronically.
But that's not to the citizens.
No, that's
just to be
just to the
clear. That's just to the
chairperson.
chairs, yeah.
Chairs.
Why is that brown?
Gee, could that be purple?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's really pretty much a...
all right, would you like to change it to purple?
Yes,
Because at
please.
this point, okay.
Are you making a motion to do so?
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
going
make
to
a-
make a motion that
Oh, yeah.
this change
Tell us.
become purple.
And a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Rules of procedure. Okay, town council, someone, do a handout. This is already in the bylaw. It was brought to my attention, if you look at the handout, I think I gave you the section 210, 7 and 8, which already says we use town meeting time.
In the bylaw?
It's in the bylaw.
Okay, we don't need
Well, sort of.
No, it is, wait a minute, I have it right here. I copied it right out of the bylaws. Wait a minute,
Wait,
where is it? It's on this, oh, did I pick
how
that?
many time? Right here. No, you have it on the bottom of the
Yeah, on the bottom.
second page.
Article 2, Government of Town Meetings, 81-7, it says, "At any town meeting shall be debatable, notwithstanding the rules of parliamentary law contained in town meeting times." And then in 81-8, it says, "The duty shall be determined by the rule of parliamentary law contained in town meeting times." So,
There you go.
it's already in, so my thought is...
Then we'll strict, so we'll just
We-
revert.
We revert back to the original. I would love a motion on that.
We revert.
And just for
Okay.
giggles, the handout that I had also had some proposed language
Yeah.
change to that.
I just discovered it like yesterday. I finally read the bylaws. I have Phyllis motion, Terry did a second. Discussion, favor of just keeping, okay, keep.
All those in favor?
All aye, opposed? All right, we're doing good.
Hold on, just a second, sorry, I need to catch up.
Yep, to it.
So what did we say about 2-7B?
I'll tell you right now.
27B is going to be purple.
It's going to change to purple,
Correct,
okay? And that was Phyllis, seconded by Terry.
correct.
Did we get a motion on 210?
Yes.
210 is, we're going to be
That was-
reverting to original one.
Yeah, I said Phyllis made the motion,
And
Terry did the second.
They
Or
did?
vice versa?
Yeah, well, they were-
Vice versa, all right.
Vice
Terry
versa.
motion, Phyllis.
I remember saying,
I'll look at the video.
I didn't hear it, I heard it on the previous one, and it was the same two people.
It was the same too.
All right,
Okay.
are we all
Trying
set?
to move this along.
I am. We're doing very good. I thank you for your patience. On 32D, I've been told that Director of Municipal Finance is actually no longer a title, it's Town Accountant.
That's not right.
No, there's two
Okay.
different jobs. One person happens to be in both at the moment.
So we keep Director of Municipal Finance?
Well, that's
line 327, 32D.
I'm not sure I understand what the changes are on this page.
Neither do I.
Who did the appointing before and who's doing the appointing now?
Board of Selectmen shall appoint.
Board of Selectmen has the final say in all of these appointments.
And they
I
did before, they're just green because... it
Town
changed to
accountant was
select.
stricken.
No, but it says blah, blah, blah,
Right.
by the town manager at the bottom, so,
And
right?
that's to be
Director.
ratified by the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When she...
So-
The town manager acts as like a selection committee head and gives a name to the Board of Selectmen who can either say yes or no.
Well, okay. Let me give you a little history. Let me give you a little history. The original charter said that the Board of Selectmen appointed the town accountant. The original charter said that the town manager, I don't know if it says it, but the town manager appointed a director of finance. I don't know if that's in the charter or not.
I think it is, yeah.
Okay. When we combine the positions, all right, in practice, we kind of did it jointly. And we're trying to clean up the language here. Well, I don't know if that's required or not required, because the current incumbent holds both jobs. And we appointed her, when we did it, the town manager and the Board of Selectmen did it in unison, the one time we did it. So
should
that's the history. That's the history.
So, yeah, if we leave the charter alone,
Then,
then in the event that we need a new town accountant, the Board of Selectmen would make that appointment.
Right.
Right.
okay.
Whether or not that happens to be the Director of Municipal Finance is a separate issue.
Right.
So it'd be good to
And that's
find it in the charter.
32D. Well,
Right.
yeah, hold on.
So,
There's some actual stuff in the real charter.
Yeah.
it does, there was a recommendation to take out a director of said council. And the council...
That's the Council on Aging. Let's not get confused. Give me a second.
Yeah.
32D.
I got the original here too.
I was just looking at the...
The Board of Selectmen, the town accountant. Okay.
Plumbing. I'm not going to bring that up, that's a...
So at this point, we're only talking about the town accountant.
Well, the whole...
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the whole...
Well, then go to 320,
Well,
Well, 32D only talks about appointments by the Board of Selectmen, so it's only going to talk about the town accountant.
No,
No, that is
these other ones.
327.
No, and council, and, yeah, I
Town
agree.
treasurer.
No, I agree.
Yeah, right, we're adding...
But I'm saying if we don't make any changes, it's going to leave it...
as is.
It's-
All right.
Which is fine, right?
Yeah, I think that's what
Okay.
Mark was just saying.
Yes.
Now,
The question is director of,
yeah,
director of said council. Do we need that? I have it stricken out here.
I was just trying to find...
Council of Aging is provided by bylaw, a director of said
I'm
council.
not even in 3, I'm in 5.3 to
Oh,
look at where the town
Select board
shows up.
Okay, well, that's something that, okay, so the director of the senior center,
Mhm.
which I guess is,
Council of Aging.
But
yeah,
no, I don't think it is.
yeah, you see, in practice,
Okay, so...
you got the Council on Aging, which has a chair. All of them are appointed by the selectmen. Then you have a town employee who's the director of the senior center. And that's appointed by the town manager. That's Sue Doherty.
Right.
So I don't know what I would recommend, I'm just saying that's what happens.
So, we should basically leave this as is.
So I think they were saying that
These were
the
added.
director of said council comes out of the charter, which probably makes sense, because there
Okay.
is no...
Director of said council.
Yeah, I mean, because Sue kind of works for the town manager and by practice works for the council. She's not the director.
But keep everything else exactly the way it is.
That would be my recommendation. Why don't I make that motion?
Okay, actually, okay, wait. Yeah, that's a good point. The other thing that happened, though, was the introduction of the town treasurer, town collector.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was because that used to be an elected position.
But that probably occurs for something under the town manager, right?
I don't know.
Well, it's in the same...
Well, that's where it was added, that's why.
I think it
Appointment is
was...
by the town manager shall become effective on the 15th day following the day in which
I think it was...
Oh, here it is. Okay, wait a minute.
It was
Okay, yeah.
silent on the accountant
Okay.
in the treasurer.
Unless you reject the appointment as a board. Or,
Treasurer and collector were silent. It was silent on those.
Okay.
So we added those in. Director of Municipal
All
Finance,
righty.
it was silent.
Okay. So the second
on
part, we
aging.
we want to keep.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
All right, so 318 through 321, the only thing to change would be a director of said council. To take
Correct.
out.
Remove.
Correct.
And that would probably be a purple?
I would think, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because we can do all of this in one motion, I suppose.
Which one's purple?
This one. right?
321, director of said council.
Okay.
Purple, okay.
Now, if we go to 27, 28, 29, 30, the original says, police chief, fire chief, director of the Department of Public Works, building inspector, inspector of wires or plumbing, we're changing it, and plumbing, or, by the town manager. And we're now adding in town treasurer, town collector, council of aging, animal control officer, building commissioner instead of inspector, because we've changed the title,
And director of municipal finance.
Yeah.
and director of municipal finance.
We have town clerk in there too in red.
Well, that's only if
I
it
know,
becomes
but
an appointed.
you totally
gotta-
jumped over them.
Well, because that's a whole other issue, it just has to be there.
I know, but he forgot that.
So, are you saying that the brown in that section is
Right?
correct?
So-
Those of you
Yes.
who work
It would
with these.
appear to be.
Yes.
And is that really a purple change, because it's just renaming the people who are there at the moment?
Or adding, we're adding
No.
people.
No, because I don't think we...
The charter is silent on those positions now.
And in practice, this is what happens.
That's right.
So we're just
So the animal
clarifying.
control officer is the town manager? I thought that
Yes.
she was
Appointed.
in front of the board of selectmen.
Well, she brings everybody in front of the Board of Selectmen when she
She actually
appoints.
does, now that you mention it. Yeah, because we have it on next week's agenda, is to review
Doesn't she
that.
bring everyone?
But I'm not sure she
I thought she
should,
brought
because she
everyone.
reports to the police chief now, in
Okay.
practice,
So, keep,
which would put her under the town manager in the...
Yeah, she
Yeah,
does,
that's-
for
I
ratification.
don't think these should be purple, though, because they're
leave
changing.
them brown?
Well, they're silent, so they're additions.
Right.
Right. So, and I think
I'm okay with them being brown.
I think changing building inspector to commissioner could be purple.
Yeah, right.
True. All right, wait, building, purple,
Okay, so just for my own
yep,
clarification, okay, so we're leaving town accountant where it is?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We're gonna-
Up on top, right? Leave
Yep,
that.
we're going to take out a director of said council in line 321, we're going to make that a purple.
We're gonna remove it. and
We're
make
gonna take it out.
We're
We're not gonna
removing
make
it as a purple, yeah.
Well, if it's not in the, it's in the original, so it has to be in purple.
Struck out as a purple.
Okay.
It's struck out as a purple.
Got it.
And then in 327, no change, town clerk is only if it's appointed. 328 is, we're not adding it, no, 327, we're adding town treasurer, town collector.
Director of Municipal.
Is
Fin-
director of municipal
Yes.
finance in the original?
No,
No.
it's an
Okay.
addition.
Police, fire, director of public works is. Council of aging is not in the original.
Right.
Animal
Animal
control
control
is not. And building commissioner, instead of building inspector, I can make that purple, but the others need to be brown.
Yes.
Brown. Got it. I would love a motion that says all that.
I will make a motion that says all that.
Who seconds it?
I'll second it.
Discussion.
Okay, do you need help? Yeah, what do you
Give
need?
Mark a chance to
No,
say all that.
you guys are doing a great job. We are going,
I just want to be
Okay.
clear.
Yep, what do you want?
Is this both the first paragraph and the second
Yes.
paragraph?
Yeah, so what do you need?
I'm fine.
Okay.
The first paragraph is in purple, and the second paragraph is in brown, except for commissioner, which is purple.
Yes,
Right.
correct.
And I'll find the words to
And
express
town
that.
clerk is red. But and town
Greg.
clerk stays red.
yeah, because that's,
Okay, all right.
go ahead,
Just
Cole.
clarification, because currently the
Oh, yeah.
animal control officer is appointed by the selectmen. Has Heather appointed the treasurer, collector? Like, how does that
I think
work?
she's been there, so no.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, we had one turnover, didn't we?
we had
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
current treasurer was...
Yeah, and I'm pretty
or,
sure
sorry,
that
the
she
collector.
appointed and we affirmed or whatever.
And I wrote in my notes that everything she appoints has to be confirmed by the BOS.
Affirmed, right.
Affirmed.
Yeah.
Ratified.
And-
Ratified.
Ratified.
Whatever.
Whatever the language.
And so now if the animal control officer functions under the police chief, Shouldn't that appointment be done by the police chief?
No,
So who's doing the supervision?
police chief.
But it would still come to the selectmen, just like a...
No, but it's a town manager.
Ultimately has control
Yeah.
over that.
Because the town treasurer and town
I
collector
just want
kind
to make
of...
sure we've
Right.
got
No,
this
but-
laid out.
But to clarify this, like the town treasurer and the town collector could report to the director of finance too. So the town manager appoints them.
And then they just
Right,
function on their own.
okay?
All right. Whew, that was big. The next one is...
Time out.
What do you got?
Jim and I seconded.
Yeah, I got that.
Oh, yeah, we have to vote.
We didn't vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. The next one is the entire Board of Library Trustees section. It is in brown.
I would just recommend we leave it, so
I'm
I'm
gonna
going to
leave it.
just leave that submitted.
We did strike out, second? Did we have a second? Okay. If you notice, we've struck out 453, 454, so I will take that out.
No, you just...
No.
Oh, you're going to take, but that's a change, so you're going to leave it in there as a change.
Oh, wait a minute, is it
No,
in there
this
now?
whole thing is a change.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
true.
And then it
So,
came
yeah.
back and they said, no, we don't need that
Okay,
section
so
anymore.
where it was stricken, yeah, take that out.
So we'd only go up to 452.
Yeah, don't have to cross out, just have it
Because that'll
gone,
confuse
they don't
people.
want it.
Yeah.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
I'm sorry, who made that motion?
I did.
Terry?
Oh, you did it to take that out?
Oh,
Oh, the,
Which motion?
I think I made a motion to keep everything that the library trustees submitted.
right,
yeah, but they didn't submit.
They didn't submit the last two lines.
right.
So that doesn't.
Okay, and then I seconded, okay.
Okay.
39A, Board of Park Commissioners. If you remember, they wanted to go from 3 to 5.
I'm happy to make a motion to leave that language as is,
All right.
with adding the five.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second by Phyllis, and discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
It passes.
Okay, so we're going to leave
It's
that.
going to brown.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
that's a
still
major
brown.
change.
Yeah,
That's
it
a
is a
voting
major
thing and
change,
all
yeah.
that. Planning Board. Okay, the town manager, all right, if you look at my packet, go to my packet, please. I believe I wrote it in. At the bottom of the second page, it says language question. Section 310C, Planning Board, 314C, Board of Sewer Commissions. I asked Heather why we were adding these statements. The town manager will be responsible for supervision, evaluation, and all personnel actions relating to this position, and why it wasn't included in the others. She wrote back to me and said she was not the one to suggest this, but believes it was suggested because she appoints, but the elected board ratifies, etc. She says the phrases should be removed. So, if you look at 310, it's 2 pages in a row, 310 and 313, we have in brown, at one point we wanted to add, as a committee, the town manager will be responsible for supervision, evaluation, and all personnel actions relating to this position. The town manager would prefer that it be removed because it's not needed, basically. You have that information.
I'll make the motion to remove the addition.
All the brown.
And
Are we just talking about
499, 500, and 501.
I think we're just reverting,
We're just
we're
talking about
reverting
this one
to...
section?
Yeah, both.
Well, 3-10 first.
310.
Okay, so...
We'll do each section separate.
All right, so...
So did she want it removed because it's understood that
Nope.
she supervises?
Yeah, it's not needed.
Okay.
I think...
If I recall the original discussion, the objective was to bring more clarity to the fact that the town manager is providing supervision for these positions. If we strike it, I think the charter still is valid. I don't...
It just goes back to the only word change is ratify instead of affirm.
And I think what we found at the public hearing was that that particular phrase created more confusion.
We were trying to clarify.
Right, and it created more confusion.
Yeah.
Just let's revert to the original language.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the only thing I'd weigh in on this is, I've read the letter at the opening of our hearing, which was sent to me by a resident who wanted it read into the record.
Yeah.
And some of this activity occurred prior to me being on the planning board, so I'm not exactly
Right.
up to speed with all the nuances. But I know we've had situations where, as a board, we're trying to get work done, and as things move through the chain, it doesn't happen. It's like trying to push a rope. We're just not getting there. The most recent situation was a request that I made of the land use director to fix a loophole in our bylaw, a loophole that's caused 10 years of litigation at God knows how much. And we were trying to get something done for this town meeting, and it just isn't happening. Town council hasn't cooperated, town manager and the land use director just aren't getting the work done. I don't know exactly that this phrase would fix that, because we still, as a board, we have no,
Oversight.
we don't supervise any of these positions.
And my sense was, looking at that, and maybe I don't know if it needs to be a procedural thing someplace, but my sense was that in that case, if it was happening on my committee, as the chair of the committee, I think I would make a formal request of the Board of Selectmen to have a meeting in executive session to review the issue, and because there's joint ownership of the people and the workflow.
Yeah. And I can see that. The challenge with the situation is that both of these resignations were submitted to the Board of Selectmen, cited the reasons, and nothing.
Right, which is why I would still
The Board of
basically...
Selectmen didn't see that letter.
That resignation letter went to the Board of Selectmen.
But I think that basically, but that's why I'm,
Did you?
not to get too deep in the
I
woods.
saw a resignation letter. Nobody brought that issue to the Board of Selectmen.
I think that, but that's why I'm basically...
The resignation letter was read by a resident at a recent Board of
Right.
Selectmen meeting.
Right.
And I think...
Inappropriately, I might add.
The resignation letter?
I'm speaking inappropriate, I think this topic of conversation might be inappropriate
Right.
relative.
Right.
Let's focus on this language, not any
Right.
particular issue.
I agree.
Right, and that's why basically, that's
I
why...
think Tanner, not to speak for him, but I think he was raising the question, does this help or hinder this situation that just
Just as
happened?
a point of discussion.
And my opinion would be, as Terry's, would be to make a formal request of the Board of Selectmen for...
Right, and I guess what I don't know is whether that's something that should be put in there procedurally, or put in the bylaws somewhere, or put some, I mean, I don't know. But basically, that would be my take on it.
That to me sounds like a procedure, not a rule.
Is it my understanding is
Okay.
that the town manager is responsible for supervision, evaluation, and all personnel actions relating to this position already?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
correct.
So this is almost redundant,
Right.
so to speak. And I was just going to point out that 499, 500, and 501 were supposed to have been taken out, and I forgot to, and it got posted on the website, so I left it because I had posted it, and I didn't want anyone to say we were removing things from the website without the committee's approval. But we've already voted to remove that section.
Okay.
So we don't have to talk about it, it's already been removed.
So I think...
Okay,
Mr. Luck has-
Mr. Luck?
Thank you for recognizing me, Mr. Chair. I think that same sentence is in the sewer commission.
Yeah, we're
Yeah, we're getting, it's the next page. And if you,
We're gonna take it
if you
out.
would listen, we were taking it out of both places.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to speak maybe against taking it out.
Well, the town manager suggested.
Where is it so clear elsewhere that this is redundant? That the town manager is responsible? Because the sewer commission was happy to see this, because there was confusion over this issue in the sewer commission, and we don't like the way it is today, and this would clarify it. But maybe there's something we don't know about in some other document that makes it clear.
Would this be an
That's kind of Tanner's point.
Did you
Right,
change that
right.
slide?
Well, and
Yeah, I went to the next one. He was talking about
regards to
sewer.
the land use director in particular,
No, in my deck,
they
I've got...
oversee conservation,
Oh, you know what it is? I had to
Yeah,
change it
building
because
commission,
it's not the housing authority.
which are
it's the
outside our
commission. I had written it wrong.
jurisdiction. Like, as a planning board, we work with the land use director, but
I made a couple.
we
So it should
have
say
no
sewer
relationship with the building inspector or anything like that. But they work under the land use director.
All right, I'll just read then. Heather was not the one to suggest the insertion of the language, but believes it was suggested as those two boards have positions that the town manager appoints and is the supervisor too. So it's already there wherever.
That's my question, where, because I can't find it in a matter of
But the
fact.
elected board ratifies the appointment, and to make the charter more clear whose role it is to supervise paid employees. The town manager does not oversee school, library trustees, library, town clerk, it's not elected. Does not, okay. So she says the phrase should be removed. Does someone have the original up on a searchable thing?
I do.
And we're looking for... What phrase would we be looking for? Town manager supervised, or just the word supervised?
Powers and duties.
Yeah, maybe that.
Oh, under section 4 for the town manager?
Powers and duties to supervise, direct, and be responsible for the efficient administration of all functions and activities for which the office of town manager is given authority, responsibility, or control by this charter, bylaw, by town meeting vote, vote of the Board of Selectmen, vote of the school committee, or otherwise. To structure, supervise, direct, and be responsible for the efficient coordination of all the fiscal and financial business. That doesn't...
I'd say personnel falls under supervision.
To appoint in the...
They are the... Could you look up, the town manager is the personnel administrator.
To be in conjunction with a personnel board established by bylaw entrusted with the administration of a town personnel system, including but not limited to personnel policies and practices, rules and regulations, including provisions for an annual employee performance review, personnel bylaw, and collective bargaining agreements entered into the town.
And that was the 42E section, it's also still...
I think that's why they need that, because it's really not clear that they're the responsible supervisors.
Okay.
Because we have to, the job description is our business manager. The job description of business manager has the sewer commission and the DPW director as joint supervisors. So...
Right, because the town manager can, according to our charter, delegate authority.
Yes, if they have it, clearly have it, but I don't think they clearly have it.
Okay.
Without the sentence, that's all.
All right.
We fully supported it, because we were glad to see clarity brought to this.
All right. Well, on 310 then, the motion was to take out the Brown in 310.
So,
Let me
Terry made the motion.
Let me withdraw, I'm going to withdraw the motion.
Yeah, because Tanner might have...
I'm going to withdraw it because we have somebody sitting here from the planning board.
And he would like to keep it in
Would like
there.
to keep it.
Is that true?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so
Then-
you're going to make a motion to accept
I
that
don't know
change?
that it specifically addresses
That issue,
Right.
the concerns we have now, but it certainly creates some clarity so that
Sure.
the
All
board
right.
going
So we're not...
forward
So,
knows who they can go to.
Okay.
we need to vote down the first motion, that'll be quick.
No, I just withdraw it.
Withdraw it, great. All right, so 310.
So 310
Keep the
stays
Brown.
as proposed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
So we need to vote on...
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 313.
Actually, it's not 313. I don't know what this...
Oh, you know what it is?
It's
It's because if we
314.
take out the town clerk, it becomes 313. That was my mistake.
Okay,
So it's-
but it exists
so we'll just
today
make
as
sure.
314.
Yes.
It is 314.
I noticed the same thing.
But you know what it is? Yes. Okay,
So,
314,
I'd like
motion to keep...
make a motion that the town manager will be responsible for supervision, evaluation, and all personnel actions relating to this position in, is it 314C?
314C.
Second.
All in favor?
So you want it in there.
You're keeping it in as Brown.
Keeping it brown,
Brown.
yep.
All righto, we have section 4.1, article 4, town manager appointment qualification. The question came, 2 town residents who are not a member of any committee or elected position in the town to be appointed by the town moderator. Someone brought up that the town moderator now has 3 people on the committee, and that has an overwhelming majority.
Tough.
No, not tough. It's inappropriate.
Why? The town manager, by definition, the town moderator is an impartial person.
Oh, please. Town moderator is not an impartial person. Town moderator has biases just like everyone else. and you're giving the town moderator 3 votes
Two,
in a very important...
So who's gonna pick those people?
four,
Maybe you look
Five.
for volunteers and you have a lottery from the people that volunteer.
A lottery, as opposed to an interview process and an evaluation of talent.
minutes.
Oh, I should go to that thing, huh? So people can see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Town moderator do that currently?
Yeah.
They do an interview and identify that?
Well, they recommend people, like...
Like Nancy.
Wait.
Nancy is the town moderator.
When he recommends people, do they come up to the Board of Selectmen to be confirmed?
No.
No.
Just checking.
So is there a public vetting of those people?
No.
No.
No, but that's,
So I think I think that's where the concern is coming from, is there seems to be a belief of conspiracy of anybody in any kind of elected position trying to take control over everything, is how I'm hearing this. So in order to eliminate that possibility of it ever happening, not that it has, there could be a different method for filling these 2 residents
All right.
by the town moderator.
Just point of order, the only reason it was added is we felt, the committee at the time felt that we needed more community support.
We don't have to have that
Correct.
line at all.
That line,
No?
we can
We
just
don't
take it
have to
out.
add 2 more residents. We could have 1 by the town moderator,
well,
like
they
we
would,
have right now.
And he never...
well, no, you have 2.
He has no idea.
No,
how I feel about
I'm
anything.
sure he
never
doesn't.
talked about anything ever.
I'm sure.
The whole Brown section was only added, and it was going to be 1 resident, and then we realized it made an even number, which why it went to 2. That's why.
Let's just take it out.
If
that
we,
your motion?
if we leave the charter alone, is it broken?
No, let's
No,
just take it
no.
out then. My motion is to take out this brown line.
Revert to the original
Yes.
charter.
Second that for discussion.
All right, discussion. All
Fine with me. I don't want to feed into this.
All in favor?
Conspiracy.
No.
Don't-
All in favor?
All in favor, let's all vote.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Delete. Got it. That was easy. Duties and powers of the town manager.
Hold on a second.
Wait, this names part down here.
Line 582,
Oh, yeah, it was a list.
list of names.
Oh, that would be a purple?
Purple?
That got absolutely no people.
Do we have a definition of either list or names?
List
I
of
thought there
names.
was...
No, list or names. Is there
I
any?
thought there was a definition that a list could be 1 name.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought so too.
that's what I'm just trying to see. Where's the...
Maybe
Oh,
town
it would be-
council weighed in on that.
It would be, I have the original here, Jamie. I have the original here.
I'm a list, I guess.
That's the point. A list, some people assumed you had to have more than 1. If
Right.
you only have 1, it's good enough.
It is not in the
Yeah, exactly.
definition
So
section.
do I.
It is not in the
It's
definition.
not in the definition section. It must have been something like that.
Putting the parentheses S.
I make a motion that we put names in purple.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, opposed? Okay, that's going to be in 2 places, line 582 also, even though that's not listed.
We're going to take out
Yes.
that list and put names, right?
Okay, in both places.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so you know,
Good enough.
that was one of those I forgot to do. 42C, powers and duty of the town manager.
I'm sorry.
Okay, what do you need, Mark?
Jamie made the motion, who seconded?
I think I did.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got
In
both
purple.
places, right?
We are striking out and is that in the original? Now I'm going to look to see if that's in the original. I don't think that's in the original. We needed to add town treasurer, town collector, right? I'm going to look right now.
We have complete bills anyway.
We just did that, didn't we?
42C. Yes, let's make sure. 42C, the original. To recommend to the Board of Selectmen candidates to be put. So everything that's struck out is in the original. Maybe the same interval to appoint candidates. So that's in the original.
Wait a minute, 42C?
Yeah. What is struck out is the original. just so you know. It aligns the appointment of department heads and ratification by the selectmen and correct renaming of building commissioner.
So in that case, getting back to what we changed in the previous language.
Right.
The town treasurer and collector were appointed by the board of selectmen. Now they're...
No,
No,
the town
it was all-
accountant. Town accountant was appointed by the Board of Selectmen, and the
Correct.
treasurer and collector were appointed by the town manager and brought to the board for ratification.
Okay.
So the town collector...
Yeah, but the charter reads that it's recommend to the board and the board appoints them. That's why we strike, that's why we
Right, got
say
it.
we should
Just to
strike.
clarify.
So
And
originally-
we still keeping director of municipal finance, correct? We decided that was...
Yes.
Yeah. So my point being that in the previous portion, we've now taken those two positions away from the selectmen and taken them to the town manager.
Yeah.
Right.
Changed
Yeah.
from the other
That-
section.
And that's why we have to do this strike.
In this one.
Yeah.
But we have to
Right.
keep the striking
That
because
wasn't
that's in the
made
original.
clear when we voted on
These
it.
appointments
Right.
are ratified by the board.
So then we don't have to vote on this because
No, that's okay.
we did it by...
That's the thing.
We did it
Well,
before.
No, we're striking out
If I
something.
had known that
Right.
currently they're
To
board of
clarify,
selectmen, I
yeah.
may have voted differently.
Oh, really?
Well, I just feel like if the original charter had the selectmen appointing these two positions, what's the reason to change it to town?
Because we were taking it out here.
Because the town managers...
Yeah,
You're
but
missing.
Why?
the point.
The point is, why are we changing, why is it,
Why-
is that practice right now, Jamie?
No,
It's not.
no.
We're changing practice.
Hmm.
Right.
But all of these candidates still go to the board of
We're not
selectmen.
changing anything.
Okay. That's what he wants to clarify. Tanner.
So one of the questions that Mr. Luck put in his thought piece, if you will, is, are we making a change? And if we're making a change, why is that? Or if we're simply stating what is, why is it that we're not following the charter?
Right.
I think this falls into that category. And we're not following the charter because it no longer made sense to do it that way with the director of municipal finance and, some of the other changes that took place. The appointment of treasurer and collector has been done by the town manager for as long as I've been involved, 10 years.
And I think that basically goes back to the previous charter when they moved to a town manager model from the chief administrative and financial officer model.
Yeah.
So the motion would be to keep it as written on this slide.
With change of...
Commissioner to purple.
Commissioner to purple, thank you.
I already wrote that.
And I will make such a motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're doing it. 42D powers, we just needed, I guess, we now have personnel bylaws. That's actually in the general laws too, I believe, correct?
Current and appropriate.
We're just adding that in because now we have personnel bylaws, correct?
Did we all?
I believe that's what it was, yes.
Yeah, it was just,
Is that the
What
salary
did-
administration plan, is that what?
should that be purple?
What was it, what was the subject of the provisions of before?
Hold on.
D, 42D, I will tell you. How's that? 42D said to appoint and in appropriate circumstances to remove subject to the provisions of the civil service law.
Oh, that wasn't in there.
Okay, so the civil service officer is
Right.
the town personnel.
We're just adding the town personnel bylaws.
Should that be purple?
Yes.
So motion,
I'll make a motion to make that purple.
turn the brown to purple.
I'll second.
I know. Should we pause? I think so, huh?
Mr. Chair,
Oh, wait.
point of order.
Can we take this vote first?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yes, Mark.
Once again, we've pushed Anna Lockwood to the end of our agenda.
I know, you're right.
So,
I wonder if
And you know what, I
we
did bring
might...
it up at the beginning.
you know what? Considering...
And I'm sorry it's taken me this long to raise it.
I just had my foot of being loud here.
Yeah, you know what, I know. All right, if we could, there's a motion to skip to Board of Selectmen discussion name for a moment, to take a hiatus from Brown.
Based on Mrs. Lockwood's suggestion, I would move that we make all the references to Select Board in purple and don't make it a special article. And it's just making things the way they ought to be, and if anybody's got a problem with them...
I am seconding that.
Discussion? Now you can talk.
Okay.
No, the only thing relative to discussion is if people have a problem with select board, that maybe we do board of select and just drop them in part.
That'll be an amendment.
The selected ones.
It is a term of art that's used in most towns when they make a
Select board.
change.
And if people at town meeting want to change it, they'll just say, we want to change it, and we'll vote.
I feel that you could sabotage all of the purple.
No.
I don't.
No, because there will be an amendment. Someone can raise the amendment to say, I'm raising an amendment to keep Board of Selectmen, Board of Selectmen. Someone seconds it, we at town meeting will discuss it, because that would be within the scope, because it is here as a thing.
Right.
And then under the purple thing, we would have a discussion about that.
So that you can vote for the purple with the exception, you can remove that.
Well, what would happen is...
Somebody can make an amendment to remove that.
From the purple.
And if it doesn't get removed, then they would vote on the purple, and yeah, you may have a few people say no for that reason.
Well, I think the only thing I'll add to the discussion is, I feel like as a committee, we're trying to stay out of the quote-unquote politics with the town clerk position. And I think this follows along those same lines where there's a political discussion that unfolds around this issue. And so by doing this, we will take that political discussion and apply it to the rest of the purple, theoretically. I'm not for or against, I mean, at the end of the day, you can change the charter. I think people are still going to refer to it as...
The way they refer to it.
I mean, they interchange the words all the time anyway.
Even when speaking against it, yes.
So,
Yes.
It's one of those things that just, I feel like the way we have it right now kind of clarifies the issue and focuses people's attention, and I think it'd just go a little bit smoother.
And I would just like to...
I think so too.
I would just like to...
Ms. Lockwood would like to...
The board, the committee recognizes Ms. Lockwood.
Hi, Emma Lockwood, 91 Main Street. So I know I was in that first hearing where this became an issue, which again, I was surprised by it. So this has become a political issue. I want to understand, what is the assessment for that? Is it because you heard, aside from that public hearing, did we have more people come and speak against? How many people came and spoke against? Like, I know there was a big thing at that meeting, and I think Mr. Lockwood was actually one who said, I think we're changing this just PPC. I think it's the wrong thing, But I think, what is been political? How much push have we got? Or is our impression out from that one meeting?
Good point.
Well, I think we've had other speakers in other public hearings make comments. It's usually the same individuals. I haven't heard from a lot of people, one way or another.
But you don't hear from a lot of people
I don't hear
much.
No, I know, not unless something's bad.
Yeah, but then are we giving...
Not unless something's bad, but if this was really bad, I would have been hearing a little bit more.
I would think so.
And I just wanted to, before we do anything else, is commend Ms. Lockwood for her compelling arguments, because she did. I was on the fence. The public hearing last week swayed me to support this as a change.
By way of discussion, I'd agree totally. I actually wasn't on the fence. I didn't care either way, but now I care a lot as a result of your input.
Thank you.
Yep, I was indifferent.
And I would say the same thing. I was swayed. Yeah. I thought it was a compelling argument.
So I would, now that we're discussing this, Ms. Lockwood, I would suggest that if this goes into purple, then there would be no pro and con.
Correct.
Right.
What would be
But I'm just going to suggest that you have a statement ready to read in case there's something there. I'm just saying. All in favor of changing this to purple?
Aye.
Opposed? Then it's purple.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you.
Actually, if I thought of it, we should have just done it. You know what? I have other things going on.
I appreciate it.
All right, let's go back to 42E. Woo-hoo. 42E.
What, sometimes I'm confused by what's added and what's taken out.
Personnel administrator, I believe, is added. You know?
No,
Yeah.
the personnel administrator
You know?
is, and then in
What?
conjunction with the personnel board established by the bylaw is part of the
So I don't see why you take that out.
Take what out?
in conjunction with the personnel board established by the bylaw.
Is there still a personnel board now that we have a personnel bylaw?
Yes, the personnel board.
Personnel board's always been there.
Yeah.
What was added was the person calling the town manager the personnel administrator. Because it read, "To be in conjunction with the personnel board established by bylaw and trusted with the administration."
Okay, so why did we take out in
It
conjunction
says
with the personnel
consistent with
board?
personnel bylaws, or is this to make it, is there a reason?
I have no idea why we did that.
No idea. So you know what? We do have to include except the school department at the end.
Yes, we do.
That is a definite change, because that's done by the school department. And to be the personnel, it says to be in conjunction with the personnel board.
That's in there now.
The
Oh,
two of us were free
So-
about it, remember?
it was just stating the town manager is the personnel administrator.
Right, so basically, I would make a motion to add to be the personnel administrator.
Okay, here's the
personnel bylaws say that?
one thing I remember being discussed at one point is we didn't have a personnel committee. And we really twisted arms to get one. And some of the stuff that was in the bylaws required approvals. And when we didn't have a committee, the town manager, it defaulted that the town, in practice, it defaulted that the town manager could make those decisions just to get, to keep the town moving, because we didn't have...
So this just clarifies
Now,
that.
maybe that's what this, I have no idea. I don't know why we put that, but that's a historical fact. We now have a personnel committee. We did have to twist some arms to get it.
I think they had passed this bylaw at last town meeting,
Powers and duties.
because I remember except the school department, right, Jim? We
Yeah.
were talking about it at last town meeting.
Not feeling
And I
it.
talked to Scott Chase about it, because he's on the
Okay, well,
personnel...
the bylaw got accepted at the last one or the one before, the whole
Right.
salary
So it
administration
just says
plan, right?
consistent with personnel bylaw. I'm just wondering if we're using the language that's in the bylaw, right here.
Well, I can bring up the bylaw.
Yeah, I don't know what problem we're trying to solve by eliminating in conjunction with the personnel board.
I'm just wondering if it's in the bylaw.
Personnel board. It can be the only thing that I can...
But there is
But
one.
there is one right now.
Yeah.
There is.
But I think that might be what they're trying to fix. I don't know.
If you don't have one,
Do you want the
Yeah.
bylaw?
Yeah, can you look it up?
work in conjunction with the
What are we looking
management.
at?
Right.
The personnel bylaws.
So I don't see any harm in keeping it in.
Right, exactly.
But it's already there, so I don't think...
Keep this.
No,
No, I'm just
keep it in.
wondering if they updated their bylaws.
Now, how about the person, do you want to add the personnel administrator?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
What are we looking for?
Clarify
We're
the
looking
chief
for
personnel administrator.
personnel.
See, I'm not
Administrator in the...
certain that's critical.
I'm just waiting.
Yeah, I'm not sure why we're putting that in.
Yeah, you know what, I would even just revert, except the school department, because basically, the power and duty,
Consistent, but that's why I'm wondering.
but I think it's just to make it consistent with the bylaw, but it doesn't matter, because it doesn't say anything different, and the bylaw is already referred to in...
Is this something someone reached out to the personnel board about?
No, I think he's just
Okay.
putting that as a clarification for that
Okay.
particular bylaw. So I think it reads the same, and it's going to be in conjunction with the personnel board entrusted with the administration of a town personnel system, and all that other language is already still in there. So
There's no reason to
So
strike
why
it.
did we?
I think there's no reason to put it in.
I think there's no reason to strike it, it's in the
Well,
original. You know,
right.
but first do no harm.
You're talking two different things. She's talking about the word
This first
personnel
section.
administrator is not in the original.
The
Yeah.
first section is not in there.
It's
Oh,
been
okay, so you
changed.
leave out
We're adding
personnel
that.
administrator?
We're adding this currently, and we're striking out in conjunction with board.
Yeah.
So Terry's recommendation is to strike what we've added
And just leave that
and bring
as
this back in.
Oh, okay.
So where's
So
it?
to be in conjunction with.
He's looking up the
Just go to
personnel.
that section
Only
of the
add
bylaws.
this.
Yeah.
Right.
So in effect, the only change we're making is to say except the school
Except the school
department.
committee, right.
Unless some other provision is made by law.
Well, that's in there.
Yeah.
That's in there. Do you want to strike it?
Then it's stricken on here.
Yeah, but it's in the charter now.
So,
So
yeah,
I'm
we're
saying
just,
leave the charter the way it is
And just add that.
and add the school board piece.
except the school department, right.
So the school department wasn't in there?
That's
Oh,
correct.
okay, yeah.
All right, so strike out personnel administrator.
Well, just leave
Revert-
don't do
Revert
anything.
back to the original, with the exception of except the school department. And then it doesn't need to be in brown
Yeah,
either.
could that be
It should
purple
just be
too?
purple. Yeah.
And we got a problem with it being purple?
Motion to have that one, let's do this official.
So we're going to revert.
I would move that the only change to 4-2E is to add the words "except the school department" in purple.
Yeah. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So that was Jamie, Heather.
Yeah.
You've already done 4-2I, haven't you? Didn't we
did
rewrite?
to yes, that was the first thing we did.
Okay, we're done with that.
With that one, no, with that one. 4-2L, bargaining unit subject to ratification by the select board or board of selectmen. That is
Well, it's not
because...
select board, we don't need that anymore.
All right,
Well, it's
4-2L.
gotta be purple
Purple, whatever.
Purple?
Shit, all the
Purple.
time.
for select board.
Because that's what happened, we now have bargaining units that we never had before, I guess.
And that's purple, right?
All right, no, it's brown now, so a motion to change that to purple?
The whole thing to purple. Yeah.
Purple?
Yeah, I think so.
All, second, we had a second.
Who just, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
I want to do this officially so no one says, oh, I saw the video. And, all
Who
right.
made that motion?
Well, you got nothing going.
Jamie did.
Jamie and...
4-2S.
Okay.
Keep in, or, right now, the original says related to infrastructure, maintenance, improvement, and
I
expansion.
don't know who made it.
The committee
You did,
has,
Jamie, it was you.
the committee has said to, it's not needed because it's expected already.
Well, you know, I disagree. I think you could probably put including those related to infrastructure, maintenance, improvements, and expansion.
And I talked to town council about that.
What he-
And we're already saying including on line 7 or 6.
What did
He said not to.
He said
Why?
not to.
I tried to
Oh, my gosh. How many hours were you on the phone with town council?
way too long because I had a meeting earlier.
No, more than
I
that.
had a meeting
That's
before
1
this
hour,
that I was
buddy.
supposed to prepare for, which
I think it was longer than that.
I gotta go to this.
4-2S.
We just did it, right? Or are you saying we did it?
We did it earlier in the meeting.
What's that?
4-2I.
Yes. That was the first thing we did, yeah.
Don't even,
I forgot to. I
I need
got
to take my shoes off.
That's right, so we didn't need them.
I over my slippers.
My feet
No.
hurt.
we already did it. I can't find my
My
notes.
feet hurt.
It's on the bottom.
4-2E was the one.
It's that time of
It's the
night.
wrong thing.
Did you get that one?
I got that one.
It's on the bottom
I get
of,
tired sitting.
4-2.
I don't usually sit there.
probably.
I'm not a
No.
sitter.
We handled it before, I'm all set.
I
Oh,
need
no,
a
it's
standing
on that
desk.
page.
Do you have a standing desk?
Yeah, okay. And you got 4-2L?
Yeah, on this one.
I didn't.
He said, should we include language like including but not limited to? He said it becomes open-ended. It actually adds more confusion
Yes.
because now anything can be
No, that's okay, I've
included.
been coughing. Thank you.
It specifically states, if you say not limited to or including, but, or whatever, what happens is it distinctly says that you can include anything, and so anyone can conclude anything they want.
I don't agree with that.
Well, that's what he said.
Well, I
Hey,
think he's
you can
right.
disagree all you want, that's okay, but he said
You know,
that putting in including implies that there are other things
Yeah,
and
right.
someone could actually start
I think we want,
including anything they,
in purple.
I mean, I think it's important to have infrastructure, maintenance, improvements, and expansion
Okay.
in the long-term financial forecast.
so I would love a motion.
If you change the
motion for
language.
what?
to
Okay, wait.
To
including
keep it or to delete
those
it?
three things.
So we can discuss
I
it.
think town council's point is including but not limited to would suggest
Everything.
everything. So.
Yeah, you can't
I don't know
put,
where that.
No, I'm saying including infrastructure, maintenance, improvements, and expansion.
But then you're limiting the three things.
I've gone.
No, you're not limiting those. You're making sure those are...
I think, well, basically, I think
No, we're good.
you get
Thank
to the same place. So if you
Next
remove
time
the
we
language about infrastructure, maintenance, improvement, and expansion, then that's everything. And if you add including, then that's everything. And the capital budget program is more than infrastructure, maintenance, improvement, and
I agree.
expansion.
Right.
Yeah,
So because it's more than that,
that's why we're striking.
that's why we were striking it. We were just saying all capital budget programs. So basically,
But are these things in the financial forecast now?
yes.
Yes.
Yes, and that's why basically with the capital plan, some of the stuff that was identified that was not put forward in the capital plan was related to, like stuff that was in the Vertex study that was, okay, well, we're not going to use that building, so that's, or whatever decisions the capital planning committee came to. But the capital budget or the capital budget program or the capital plan.
Yes, but this is talking about long-term, not this year's capital plan. It's talking about long-term financial forecast.
See, the way I read it is by having that sentence in there, it limits the forecast. And I think the forecast is intended to be inclusive, not
Right.
limited.
Right.
That's why I like to see it come out.
Just a point. If you go to the 5-year, this isn't just capital plan, it's the 5-year plan.
Right.
If you go to the 5-year plan, which I've done, it does not address those items. It does not talk about infrastructure maintenance, improvement, or expansion. So that, I think, why it got put in there, because it's important stuff, and it's not being presented in the 5-year plan. So the presumption that it'll be included anyway is not correct, because it's not.
Right.
I believe it is.
No, I'd be glad to sit down with you and you show me where it is.
5-year capital plan,
No, 5-year plan.
5-year capital plan.
Long-term financial forecast.
This is the 5-year long-term.
Which the
Yeah, but there's
the
a
capital plan.
5-year capital plan.
Of which the capital plan is a part of.
Is it part of it?
Right.
And does it go into the infrastructure?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it
Of
does.
course.
Yeah, that's why we're doing
Capital plan is
asbestos
everything.
abatement for like 12
years.
It costs.
Yes, we have that. You asked Mr. John. No. No.
John Henshaw.
John Henshaw,
Oh,
who
John
has
Henshaw.
created document after document for
The capital plan
this.
has those things. I looked at the 5-year plan that the town manager submitted, not the capital plan, but the 5-year forecast.
Financial forecast.
Financial forecast. The financial forecast does not address infrastructure plans in the future, which is our big problem. It doesn't address all these buildings and the infrastructure plan. We're certainly going to spend money. It doesn't even talk about it. So I think...
I'm reading this as two different things. Financial forecast and capital budget
plan.
programs.
Yeah.
I'm seeing these as two different things,
And they're both included.
and they're both included. So they may not be in one document, but
They're both
it does
included.
sound like they're both included to me.
Who's preparing those? Because in this interpretation, it should be the town manager, but I get the impression that if John Henshaw...
Well, she's on the capital planning committee. Town manager sits there.
The capital planning
Yeah.
committee presents it to the
Yeah.
town manager, who incorporates
Yeah.
it in the overall forecast.
Yeah, so she is a part of that.
The capital
Yeah.
plan, but not the 5-year forecast.
Yeah, same thing.
She prepares the 5-year
She does,
forecast.
yes, I'm saying.
And the
capital
capital-
plan she's part of, but the...
Let's put it this way.
But she doesn't put these things in the 5-year forecast.
Well, she doesn't present them in the 5-year forecast because they're basically the 5-year forecast it typically goes to the financial aspect of the future being, you know, like, yeah, we've got this much debt going, and that's related to, you know, we just bought a building, and we know that in 20 years we're going to buy another building, so we're trying to get that debt paid down so that we can do that. But the capital, I think the capital plan is actually going out, 10 years, I think? And that's identifying the infrastructure needs in the buildings and stuff. And whether that's part of it's not part of the financial forecast as much as it's part of the capital budget program. So the financial forecast, it's the only time that it speaks to the capital budget program is if debt is already incurred. And then it's in there, but otherwise it's not in there.
But it should be.
I've been told that the capital budget plan, right, is online. So do you have access to online right
I have
now?
no problem with the capital budget, the capital plan. It's the 5-year forecast plan that the town manager puts together. Doesn't have anything in it. It just.
Oh, I see.
It just takes the things and.
But both things are in here.
100%. You can't find anything in that plan that addresses what we're going to do with all these buildings.
Well,
But Terry says that is more of a financial picture, and the capital budget is more of the physical.
Well, let's put it this way, there's no decision made about what's going to happen with the buildings anyway. That's going to be basically a recommendation to town meeting, which has been recommended annually. But that's basically the financial forecast is, or the way that the capital plan is incorporated is probably through the budget process, but there is a 5-year forecast that's presented at the beginning. And actually, I want to say that it's presented before the budget, but it's actually presented before the budget, so it's basically still part of the 5-year plan. That's still presented as a 5-year plan.
I'm just thinking out here, because it is convoluted, it's got both the long-term financial and capital budget program in the same line. Can we move capital budget program to T or to T and have them separate lines? So it's clear that we're talking about two separate things.
There's already a T.
Well, and then you'd read...
I know, but I'm just saying, we have to make sure we remember if we do that.
Well, I mean, the other thing that we can do is just not change it, I mean, which is fine, too. I don't care. I mean, basically, to me, it's
So, make a motion.
it's limiting the capital budget program to infrastructure maintenance, improvement, and expansion.
Yeah, I would suggest that we do one of two things. Either we strike it the way we originally agreed to, or we make it including as opposed to related to.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But the other
But
thing,
I like striking it.
I also don't know how that would look in a 5-year forecast,
Yeah.
other than the one that's already presented. So I don't know whether she just adds the capital planning committee's work as an addendum to the 5-year forecast.
I can't see it in the numbers. I don't see it in the debt numbers. I don't see anything that relates to infrastructure maintenance.
Well, you won't.
That's because we spend it year by year. We approve it based on what we know.
I'm sorry.
That's a 5-year forecast. It's supposed to...
Well, and
Supposed to be moving on.
not to muddy the waters here, but I feel like the intent is good. Like, we want to have a clear picture, but the town manager doesn't have much ability to affect a lot of this stuff. It goes through capital planning, it goes through town meeting, and so you're forecasting something out a long ways, not knowing what will get voted up or down, and, you know, I feel, and ultimately, I feel like if the Board of Selectmen want to see these things, you say, I love your presentation, but I want to see this and this, and you modify accordingly, and...
Good luck with that.
Well, on the flip side of that, by adding this language, are you going to force somebody's hands?
We're not adding
no.
language. We're just not taking it away.
Okay, let me just say this about that. Basically, I think if there's a question related to that, I think the town manager is very responsive in terms of addressing the financial projections going out 5 years. I think that, yes, she could project that, and I think it's been said, but I don't know how you put it in the 5-year projections, and I guess this is I'm speaking as a member of the Finance Committee. The Vertex study says we're going to need this much money in order to make the Lunenburg Primary School usable.
Yep.
Nobody has identified that they want to make the Lunenburg Primary School usable. So why would you put that in the forecast?
Right.
Or the capital plan.
or the capital plan. So basically, until the town says, we want to tear that building down and we want to pay for putting a park over there, there's nothing to put in the forecast, other than we have this unused land. And maybe that's what you're looking for, is that, then maybe that could be part of that. But in terms of the infrastructure and things like that, there's we're going to put in a new heater because we anticipate that the heater's going to die in 5 years. We're going to repaint, we got a new roof coming. All of that stuff is in the capital plan. So that is presented before the budget is presented, and it's something that we will be, taking up. So basically, it is already projected, and we already know that there's going to be another fire truck in 10 years, and an ambulance in 3, and
Police cars.
Yeah, so they've already got that going out 10 years. So I think that part of the projection is there. I don't know that this information, I don't see how it sits in the financial forecast unless you've already identified that you're going to do it. And if it was identified that we were going to do it, it would be in the plan. I have no doubt Heather's great about getting that information in. I've never asked her a question that we haven't gotten an answer.
So I will entertain a motion at some point.
I move that we strike related to infrastructure maintenance, improvement, and expansion.
Second.
Second.
As it's on the slide?
Yes, right here.
Yes. Okay.
All right. All in favor of striking that out?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, we have one nay, but that still meets the super strike out stage. Okay, the next one. This is that duplication thing. Several people have brought up at the public hearing that it's really not a duplication after looking at it. In keeping with it doesn't do any harm.
No harm.
And I would just leave it in, but I would entertain any motion otherwise.
I would make a motion to
Take it out.
leave this section in.
Yeah, this is in the original.
So revert.
I was second that.
Okay.
44C, vacancy.
For the acting town manager.
Because it's about the acting town manager. Okay.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
44C.
I get that part.
44C.
Who made the...
I made the motion,
Thank you.
Phyllis.
And Terry said second.
Jim.
Oh, Jim, I'm sorry. There's a lot of motions tonight.
Yes.
It's okay, we're doing it, we're getting there, thank you. We're there, we're almost in the 50s. Discussion? All in favor of leaving it in, so that means it now just stays black and we do nothing with it, we're not going to discuss it.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Keep in,
Yeah,
remove.
That was it.
I'm just late.
Yep.
Yep, we're there.
Okay.
44C, okay, we have to go to 45B. Clarifies and outlines the due process for town manager removal and suspension.
I think
Did we miss this one?
No, it's the same one twice.
No.
Which one?
The names.
Names. It's in brown.
Oh, so you just went,
He just went from here to here, and then,
it skipped over the name.
Skipped over that
So you
one.
wanted to make a motion to change that to purple?
Well, no, that's just a copy of another section we already voted on.
Okay.
4.1.
Yes.
okay. just
That's
check.
because people were asking where was it, and I was putting in where it was.
Oh, my Lord,
That's the
okay.
duplicate.
That's, okay, we don't need this. Okay, thank
So
you.
we're going to 45B. This was brought up by the moderator that gives the town manager due process, basically.
Yes.
So I don't have a problem with this.
The only thing I would
Yep.
suggest or move in addition to accepting this is where it has select board of selectmen, make that purple.
Yes, I will make
All of them?
all Board of
Okay.
Selectmen select board purple no matter where it is. How's that? And I'm going to write this down so I don't have to watch the video.
Oh, you're still going to have to watch the video?
No, is purple,
Okay.
no matter what. No matter what.
Then I'll make a move to accept this markup.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can you just bring it up for a sec? What is 5B?
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize.
So we're
The
moving...
strikeouts are things we added that we decided not to keep, so we're only going to keep the things that are not struck out. believe.
We're going to accept this change as proposed.
Yes.
Yes.
45B, and I'm just
And
going
it
to double.
stays brown.
Yes, stays brown.
And that
With the
was-
town moderator
That was-
filed with the town clerk.
Jim and Terry.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Take.
Glad you remembered that. I didn't-
53A, Department of Finance and Financial Services. It's just clarifying who is either the town manager or the town manager's appointed per Article 4. It says the exact same thing, except I guess it says it better. Who may be the town manager's established by Article 4. It just adds that it could be an
Why
appointee.
isn't it purple?
Well,
What color is it?
Brown.
Is it?
yes.
It's hard to tell.
What happened is I was given the task of changing it, and anything I thought
that
was
is
major, I
Not
made
brown. See,
brown,
that's the
just
whole
in
thing. To me,
case.
this is not brown at all, but
This is why I had a problem in the beginning.
burgundy makes it brown.
If you look back there, it's close to brown.
It's brown here.
Brownish.
All right, I need a motion
Like
to
rice
accept this or not, and then at the same time, if you want it in purple or not.
So moved. Purple.
To accept in purple, Jim, Terry.
Accept the proposed changes and make them purple?
Correct. Jim and Terry.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay. 6.3, submission of budget. We want to go from the newspaper to the town website, and a summary of the budget shall be mailed to everyone. And this is to save money, because then we don't have to put it all in the newspaper. So this is, and there's still
I'm
stuff,
sure the ledger would appreciate the revenue.
yes, they would,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to go there.
The town manager shall simultaneously.
Actually, it's more accessible on the website, because not everyone gets the town ledger.
Well, actually, I would say that,
It would have
I
to be
think,
town-wide
I think that there's no,
distribution
there's
of
no,
the ledger.
right, and there's no problem with putting it in the local newspaper. I think that that could just be a practice, not a charter.
However,
Yeah, if they want to do it, that's
the
fine.
town manager shall simultaneously provide for the publication of a general, and just strike out in the local paper or on the town website. Doesn't matter.
You kind of want to say.
Shall
Well, but
simultaneously.
shall
She can put
provide
it
for
anywhere.
publication. She can put it anywhere
She's
that
gonna
needs
make
to be
it public.
publicized.
Yes.
I like it being listed on the website, because then if someone is looking for it, they know it's going to be on the website. Now that we have the new improved website.
Where you can't find anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, in what way?
But everyone still gets,
Subscribe to things.
but
Yeah,
everyone still gets something mailed to
On
them.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
But then if they want to go into detail, they can go to the town website.
Right.
So I kind of like the idea.
No,
of the town
I think
website.
it's good. I think it's good.
So I entertain a motion.
So the budget should be mailed with the warrant to, yeah, okay, I make a motion to accept the changes as submitted.
Second?
In brown?
In brown?
I don't know, yeah, whatever that is. Oh, you mean instead of making it purple?
Yeah.
That's,
We can make it purple. Yeah, we can make it purple.
Right?
you want to make it purple?
Yes, let's
Okay,
make
so
it
it's to
purple.
keep it
That's-
and
that's
purple.
what-
All in favor?
Well, that was an amended first.
That was an amended.
The second,
You're going to amend your second? To amend my first?
No, it's-
No, Phyllis, yes, okay.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm running out of purple pen.
just checking.
Oh, no.
That's
Keep
too
it.
bad, we're making everything purple.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 6.5A, the budget. This is a clarification because we know pretty much don't have work programs. Oh, the state doesn't do things by work programs anymore, I guess. They do by appropriation. The state has renamed what they do.
Yeah, I think that was Karen Brochu who made that
Yes.
suggestion because it's not accommodated in the accounting system.
So I move we make the change to appropriation in purple.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I ran out of purple, so I'm going to have to write that in black.
You want a blue pen?
Yeah, that's all right. I wrote big purple and big letters. Clarification by finance file. Oh, this is what we need to do. Keep C the same and add D that says, including estimated balances and any special, no. And make this D, identify all other available sources of funding. So we can keep D. Several people said we needed to keep D, that they didn't like crossing out estimated surplus revenue and free cash at the end of the current fiscal year, including estimated balances and any special accounts established for specific purposes. That is the original C. We were going to eliminate it and just say, identify all other available sources of funding. It was suggested that maybe we should just make it D, identify all other available sources of funding.
The last page of the handout that I provided,
You already did it.
it's already there.
Oh,
Which one for everybody?
what did I do with your handout? I don't want to lose that handout.
Do you need it in here?
No.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Good.
Okay, so that would be C.
Yes.
And that would be
Great.
D, right?
Sounds good. Yep.
Got it.
Yes.
And is that
That's
burgundy?
So all we would do is say,
It's to clarify, so I would just put it in purple.
Right? Because this stays, and then this is just,
yes, all we're going to add is D.
D.
Which is identify any other
Right.
available funding source.
the other stuff stays, and so that,
Yeah.
do you think that would be purple?
Oh, yeah, that would definitely
Purple.
be a purple.
So keeping all the original language and then
Yep.
adding identify.
D,
Available.
Okay, got it.
add D in
Yep.
purple.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I need a motion.
You wrote it up.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion to make 65C,
Keep as an
keep
original.
the identification of any other available funding sources as D, and keep the original as C.
I will second.
And is it in purple?
In purple,
Yes,
yes,
purple.
in purple.
Sorry.
D would be in purple. Because the other would stay as it.
The other would stay black, correct? Right.
okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 7-8B, clarification and process of timeline for posting agendas. Oops, I have it there. This is one of those things, it's in the Mass General Laws or something like that, it's wherever it is, but people keep forgetting it.
The 48 hours?
It's
yeah.
48 hours, not including Saturdays and Sundays. It's to really make that very
So
specific.
this should be purple.
Mhm.
All right.
I would think so.
I get a motion. Do I have a motion?
I move to make that purple and accept the changes.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Cool, I'll be busy tomorrow morning. 7-8C, multiple body, no, it'll be done tomorrow morning. This was, I caught this, certified was in brown. We don't need it because she stamps it anyway, because that's what she has to do according to Mass General laws. She
By
time
stamping
stamps
it,
it.
doesn't that have certification by stamping it?
Well, the confusion was that certified means certified, like
a
with
seal.
a seal,
Yeah. Town stamp.
the seal.
Whatever, yeah.
It doesn't matter to me, but that was, if you want to just keep it in, that's fine. I don't think anyone saw it.
Okay, I will say this.
Say it.
We can take it out, but I would assume that certified means that people who were at the meeting and voted to say that this was a true copy, like we're basically now saying that they don't have to be initialed.
Right, and guess what?
What?
They don't have to be initialed anymore.
So then that's
I
fine.
went to old ones, and they're all signed by the people who were at the meeting. So,
So that's probably why it was coming out, was because
Yeah.
they no longer have to be initialed.
right,
Got
so that would be a purple thing.
That would be purple.
Purple.
So
So we're accepting all of these changes?
no, the
and making
minutes
them
and all that were already done in purple.
But
in
the brown,
previous
the
thing.
brown
Oh, we did
certified.
that
yeah.
already?
Mm.
The brown
Okay.
certified would
Okay.
change to
Got it.
purple certified.
Yep,
All right, motion?
so moved.
Seconded.
Oh, you're keeping certified in?
No,
No,
we're
we're taking it out and making it purple.
No, we're just taking it out.
We're making it a purple.
We're just moving. A purple strike through, it's a purple
It's a
strike
purple
through.
strike through, yeah.
Okay?
All right.
I knew.
The dreaded
All right.
purple strike through.
Purple strike through.
7-8E.
Did we vote?
We did not.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
7-8E is just a restatement of the quorum that we changed at the beginning to match. So this is, we changed at the beginning. Did we do that in purple at the beginning?
Yes, all the definitions were changed to purple.
All right, so this is just matching the definition we did in the definition section. on that one. So a motion to accept in purple the changes to 78E.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, keep. Thank you. 56, good procedures, 78F. This is clarifying those vacancies and when you can do them. All right.
I make a motion, we accept the changes
As Brown.
as shown.
There's one purple.
Yeah, there's something in purple there that's already
Okay.
been voted on.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Okay, wait.
Oh.
Why did we strike out, and there's a pool of candidates available?
Because sometimes there's not a pool of candidates. It's one person who...
And there is a candidate available,
Yeah, there is candidates
/S
available. Set
Replace
appointed.
that.
Oh, I see, okay, so that's...
Okay.
It's kind of
Thank you.
redundant, and there's...
Thank you. Well, no, because we added and then we
Yeah.
added, so...
Yeah.
Right.
And
So I
so
think
I
we
would
need to-
remove the strikeout, right?
Yes, please.
Yeah, that would just not be there.
That would be really helpful.
Remove
Yeah.
strikeout. I'll be looking at the original in this quite a bit. Yeah, you see where
You
it
see how
says,
that's
and there's a
brown?
pool of
Yeah, yeah.
1101.
So we're going to accept this change as written.
So
Yeah.
basically, we put this in. We added that.
We added
And
some
now
other
we're
things.
striking it
And now
out.
then we added that. So we added both, so we're just taking out the...
So you're right, Mark. No, but we're accepting it as written.
written.
Correct.
In brown.
In brown.
Right. That's written.
Wait, and
Okay.
who did that?
Phyllis and Jim.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, keep. 710, notice of vacancies. We're getting there. We needed, this with the intent because we now have employees.
All right, I know what that one was all about. It was written to be for town employees, but in a legal definition, some members of multiple member bodies are defined as employees
Employees.
for the
Like us.
purpose of
Yeah.
conflict of
And we just
interest.
had to make sure that they're not included in this.
Yes.
Okay, is that a purple then?
Yeah, I would think
I
so.
would think so.
So, motion.
I make a motion that we submit
Keep
the
it.
changes as presented, only make them purple.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Section 711, new enforcement of the charter. You have to go to the next slide to see that. The first slide, Section 42N, recognizes the authority of the town manager to oversee the provisions of the charter. At some point, we as a committee said we really needed to spell this out more particular, because when we discovered that parts of the charter were not being followed, maybe people didn't know how to report it or whatever, and so this just is a new section to clarify all of that.
It's a great clarification.
I thought so. And I didn't write it, Bob.
I would have one minor
Yeah, what is that
change
typo right here?
on 1161.
1161.
It says compliance with the charter, add the words "or bylaw."
With the charter.
We reference the charter or the bylaw throughout, and that's the only place
Okay.
we say charter.
Okay.
Got it.
I'm sorry, I'm not with you.
1161 with the
Line-
charter.
No,
Oh, we gotta go to the
where
next
are you?
page. Oh, I didn't see.
711?
711 is 688 to 691.
No, go to the next one.
Go to the, yeah.
There's two 711s. The first one was so that
One's down
people
the
saw
street.
where the original was and what we added.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
And they would like to add to, or the bylaw here in 1161. Because everywhere else it says the bylaw
Where
also.
would you add it?
1161, compliance with the
With the
charter
charter
or the bylaws.
Or the bylaw?
Bylaws. I'll accept motions
I'll make a motion to accept this section
As amended.
7-11 as amended and as presented and then amended.
In brown?
in brown.
In
And
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Don't read it. That's
Wait,
so
what are we
heavy.
on?
Okay. Yes, we still have to do
I thought
the
you
voting.
seconded.
So,
You seconded.
I did second, but then Terry seconded.
No, that's okay. Your second was
It doesn't
first.
matter.
Wait, who is it? Are you...
Jim seconded
I'm
first.
sure you're going to all scrutinize these for who?
Oh, yeah,
Before we leave the
right.
brown section,
Yes.
I provided a handout
Wait.
or section 3.1.f.2,
3.1.f.2, filling of
filling vacancies of multiple member bodies.
You just do that.
No. So what happened was at town caucus, somebody came up to me and said, hey, you guys need to really address this from the charter review. We have had situations in the past where the Board of Selectmen of 5 have overridden
Oh, yes, I was
the
standing.
member body of 4 and put people on the boards that were disruptive, that we didn't want, but we were forced to take. So I took an attempt to
I don't
level that
understand.
playing field.
I don't understand what you just said. Just say it again, I'm
So,
sorry.
For example,
Mhm.
we had an opening on the school committee, and we had to meet jointly. So if all 4 of us on the school committee said, this person wants to cut every single program that we have, and we don't want them on our committee, the Board of Selectmen could have overridden us by voting to affirm that person.
Mhm.
And that person could have been a disruptive force
Mhm.
to the committee.
Okay.
So this is I've laid out 3 options here to kind of level that playing field so that the Board of Selectmen can't necessarily override the wishes of the majority of the remaining member body.
Yeah, so that's why you have 2 copies of them.
So the first option would be that the Board of Selectmen, in a number equal to the remaining members of the multiple member body, can vote jointly. And so, in the event of a tie, the candidate will be rejected and the vacancy shall remain until they find a suitable candidate to break that tie. The second option would be, if there's a tie, to have the town moderator cast a tie-breaking vote. And then the third option would be that the multiple member body will put forth a recommendation to be ratified by the Board of Selectmen. So I tried to cover all the bases here, and I don't know which, in my opinion, options 1 or 2 make more sense. And the concern I have with option 2 is the town moderator may not always be available for those meetings to cast a tie-breaking vote. But this was, like I said, mentioned to me at town caucus by somebody who has experienced this.
Yeah, I understand the concept, and I'm cool with it. I'm just trying to think in practice, how does the Board of Selectmen do that? So in other words, if you have 4 members left on your board, how do we figure out which 4 of us vote?
Yeah, who abstains
Or is
from
there a
voting?
math way to do that? I'm not sure.
I don't draw straws,
Yeah.
whatever procedurally, the
Or
board...
the Board of Selectmen can just appoint 4 members to meet
To that
with.
committee.
Yeah. you can-
Or the board chair, or the select board chair could appoint 4 members to, however, whichever makes the most sense, because if you have to meet to do, I don't know. if
Yeah, it
makes-
was at a
It would be at a
selectmen
joint
meeting.
meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no.
I also feel that it's a rare, it has happened, but it's a rare occurrence. And it happened for a reason.
I have no...
on planning.
I've heard it happen
This
a couple times on planning.
Greg Bittner and Dave Prokopiew both resigned. And so we appointed Paula, and then we're going to have another appointment come up.
No, but
And
that
not
isn't-
speaking to the disruption part of things, but
Yeah.
just speaking to the process. And unfortunately, the board with the vacancy, except for right now, because the Board of Selectmen has the vacancy, is always the minority.
Right.
In that case.
Yeah, but I don't know, I think the Board of Selectmen is a reputable group, and
Well, so is the town.
I don't know, they might have
So is the town
political
moderator,
agenda.
but
Do you think they might
we've
have a
been having this
political agenda?
conspiracy theory talk.
A conspiracy
Yeah, which
theory,
strikes me
a
that-
political agenda?
And
Yeah.
that the board, the town's run by 5 people.
Well, I think what makes it, I think I'll just go back to and one of the arguments that I'll hear the Board of Selectmen make from time to time is also, well, they're an elected board.
Yeah.
Well, if they're an elected board, why don't they have as much say as the Board of Selectmen in who's going to be sitting on the committee? Because they're an elected board. So why does it fall back to the Board of Selectmen to participate in the appointment? Not to
Because the
throw
charter
it
says
in.
it does.
Right. So then I'm saying, so then it would be, okay, so if you have so right now, the Parks Commission has 3 people on it, okay, so yeah, well, forget it, even if you have a quorum of the Board of Selectmen, you're still going to have more people than sits on that board, so.
Now I'm gonna have 2.
I don't see it as a problem. I mean, going to something very different. I think the write-in, letting someone get written in by one vote is way more disruptive than...
We're going to get to that in a minute.
But I'm saying,
We're gonna get to
as an example, that's way more disruptive than this.
Upstairs and across, straight across?
Going.
Okay.
So, I don't think it's a problem that needs to be fixed.
So this is 3-1.
And then another topic that kind of
3-1
on this
F2.
is I've witnessed other situations where people have vacated a committee after the election
Right.
opening closes, and that's a pretty small window between your resignation and filing papers to get on the ballot. So it
It
has into the conspiracy theory thing, but that's a pretty small window to resign in,
also
and then people get appointed.
It also
So-
happens that people don't resign till right after the election so that their board can appoint someone. That's
Exactly.
happened as well.
Exactly, and so then how does...
Everybody manipulates this. So in that case,
But in
the
the-
4 members are trying to get a particular person who may not be the appropriate person.
Right,
Well,
so in
that's-
this case, the
that's-
4 members that are trying to get somebody on would be negated by the 4 members that don't agree, and that person, that would be deemed rejected. Or you have the town moderator vote, cast the deciding vote, if there's a tie.
Yeah, I'm not part of an elected board, so I don't...
I like to make the assumption that these are citizens of the town that are your neighbors and are doing things right. And I hate to make a frickin' rule
Right.
that assumes somebody's trying to pull something. But if you got to do it,
I don't think you have to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I agree.
One person mentioned it at caucus, and this is the result. I mean, yikes. When I think of all of the pleading I did with that move.
now, what I would say is I think one of the things that we get in the habit of doing, just this is as an aside, is we're so happy to have somebody volunteer that we rush to judgment without even asking. Sometimes we don't even have a conversation about, does this board really support this candidate? It's kind of like we got a candidate.
Yeah, the last 2 planning board
Yeah.
people, the one that's coming up, planning board hasn't even met.
Right.
I don't even know the person. In the case of Paula's appointment, I knew her, so,
But it's a
the-
requirement to have a joint meeting.
It is, but I think it would be...
But I think what occurs at that joint meeting needs to be a whole lot more discussion than just a let's get
Yes.
voting.
Right.
Well, and in my mind, if you're going to go through this process, like if you wanted somebody on the school committee, you would like to interview them as school committee without the selectmen there.
Right, which would be on
So,
3.
But
Cole,
you could do that, couldn't you?
Cole, when I was put on the PAC committee, I had to go to a meeting, and I had to meet all the other people, and so did, what's his name?
My close friend.
And we had to meet, and then he okayed us and submitted our names. We had to go to a meeting, present who we were, our qualifications and all that.
So the planning board would have that option.
It's not written in the charter, but that's how he did it.
Yeah, and the last 2 times we haven't had that option. The board has in the past, they've done their own interviews, but the last 2 vacancies, the individuals have submitted their talent bank form to town hall. Elaine Peterson sends an email and says, you're doing a joint appointment this day.
Right. To me, that can be fixed without a charter change. I mean, I really do.
You could go back to Elaine and say, we want to hold off, we want to meet with them, and.
That would be a policy in town hall, any volunteer.
Because I have no problem at all. I think it makes a world of sense to have the board that the person's going to join come in and say, we support this person, we've interviewed them, they'd be a great addition.
And so in that situation, if you have the person interview with the planning board, do we reject the person? Or do we have the ability, or does any committee?
Right, and you don't. And I think that's where it,
Yeah,
so
well,
basically-
because it's an elected position, we have to have something in the charter that says how to fill it.
Right.
And it's a joint appointment, so
Right.
And this is
we're the
only for
minority.
elected positions.
Right.
So theoretically, any board that, if it's school committee, if you're looking to fill a seat, you could interview the person, be unhappy with them, and they could they still need to go in front of the selectmen. There still needs to be a joint meeting there because
Right.
we're not the majority of the appointing authority, so we can't reject. So it's...
But they
I
could
don't know.
reject.
Or they could ratify.
Right.
The-
But if
Yeah.
you
So...
Which they have.
Look, just to
Or they could
kind of see the
override.
whole picture, I mean, when we have a vacancy, we don't have any option but to have an election or not have an election.
Right. Right.
We found out that having an election costs $3,500. So that's probably why the charter says, here's a way to fill elected spots
until the next election.
until the next election
Yeah.
without having to have an election.
Yeah.
Right.
And I just kind of resent the assumption that it's,
Right.
that it has,
You can't trust
that
the board of
that you can't trust anybody, But I
The
understand.
messenger.
No, I hear it,
And I came up, I tried to think of
Yeah.
options that would
Based on...
limit the power.
Based on one conversation you just had the caucus.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me.
I don't know why.
Well,
Because
it
we
makes,
took up the other issue and we're going to
Yeah.
take it up again.
Yeah.
So it's not that
Have we
we're not
voted on it?
responding.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, we voted on it
Yeah, we
several
already voted
times.
on it.
So I think it's not a question of whether we're...
So why are we taking that up again?
Well, no, I'm not even going to go there. Basically, I'm fine with, but I think that the reason why this came up isn't, it could be conspiracy-related stuff, it could just be history, it could be that, like the
I got the sense that
elected
it was
boards.
history.
It is history.
It was,
Yeah,
I don't remember who said it though.
but it was...
I do, and I'm not going to.
No,
use
and
their
you
name.
should not.
But it's also, but I think the other piece of it is because we're talking about an elected body, and we're talking about an elected body, two elected bodies coming together, I think that, if there was a way to even the numbers so that, then I think that the other body would not necessarily be, and then if it's a 4-4 vote, then the person is not ratified or not appointed.
Wouldn't the board that doesn't want them to come on board just say to the selectmen, we're not really in favor of this candidate? In a
Yeah.
public meeting? Can't you just say that out loud and then have the
Well,
select board
But
decide
they
whether
voted No.
what?
They voted no during a joint meeting.
But it was based on qualifications.
I don't.
I have no idea. I don't even know.
I don't know the
I
history of
can't
it.
even remember.
Yeah.
I can't even remember who said it
It
yesterday.
was a clear
Or
difference. The person that the Board of Selectmen voted for had clear qualifications to be on the planning board. The other candidate did not.
I thought we
Planning
were
board.
talking about school committee. Weren't you referencing school committee?
We didn't-
School
we-
committee
okay,
as an example, because
Okay.
that's the only
But that didn't
multi-member
happen.
body that
Okay.
I am part of
No.
that has gone to the Board of Selectmen for a joint vote.
Okay.
And it was fine.
And I've always said, as a member of FinCom, I don't want to have anything to do with who's on my board. Because
Which is it's kind of a unique
Oh, sorry.
position, but I've heard you say that, and I can appreciate it. you know?
Yeah, because basically, I'm just going to fill the board with everybody who I want to agree with me. Yeah, no.
Right, why,
It should be diverse.
Board again.
Yeah.
Why
So,
why is that
I don't-
okay?
as we wrap this,
The town moderates the finance committee anyway, right?
No.
What?
There's a three-member committee.
Somebody from the school committee, somebody from the select board, and the town moderator.
Why the school committee's on there is a mystery to me. But anyway, okay.
so are there any
They're a big
motions
budget
that
item.
someone would like to put forward?
We don't get to touch their budget.
Yeah, okay, I will move that we go with option one.
But you do get to say how much budget they get.
Yes, I do.
Right,
Yeah, like
right.
tomorrow.
So there's a motion to do option number one. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Wait, are what, like,
Okay, wait a minute, we have option 1 and 3 on the table.
we don't have to do anything.
Yeah, right.
No, I said, is there anyone going to do a motion? And
Oh, I'm not.
I move to option one for discussion.
is there a second?
Okay,
Hearing no second,
so motion fails.
motion fails. All right, so we move on?
Now we have...
I move that we adopt option number 3.
Option number 3, is there a second?
And I will second that for discussion.
I really don't think this belongs in the charter.
Let me read number 3. Hold on.
So the language may need to be cleaned up to make it more legal, but the intent for number 3 was...
I'm just
would
shocked.
be
I just think it does not belong in the
The
charter.
multiple member body would meet and vote and then present somebody to the Board of Selectmen for ratification. That's the intent.
All right, so what if the Board of Selectmen vote not to ratify?
Then
there
they
wouldn't be-
go back out.
It would be the
then-
So
It's
essentially-
exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
So we vacate.
But it's not.
Well, no,
It's not, because in the past, I don't know what the example was that was cited, the school committee voted
They voted for
against,
it.
and they
It was-
voted for it.
it
So
was
in
the
this
same.
situation, the person, basically, it puts
You
the power
get vetted
in.
by the school.
All right, it solves that problem, okay?
Yeah, right.
But let me tell you how it might create another one. All right, if 8 people voted to get it passed, because it's 5 and 4, so 9 people
9
voted.
people.
Right.
To get it passed, you need 5 votes.
Yep.
All right, now, what if the 4 of the board with a vacancy vote one way, and the selectmen vote 3-2 not to ratify?
That's majority.
3-2, okay, so not to ratify, so basically they voted yes.
They voted yes.
Right?
Yep.
And you
All right,
voted...
so
and
you
then
got 4 people like the candidate,
Yeah, and we bring
and
it
the
forward.
selectmen come say, no, we don't like him 3-2.
Yeah.
So you got 2 people that actually like the candidate. So you got 7 people getting overridden by the 3 that said, we don't want to ratify.
Which they would have ratified if we had done it in the original way,
That's my point.
yes.
So, solves your problem, which I understand.
Yeah.
I move that we don't make any changes.
I'm kind of with Phyllis. I don't even know why we're talking about this.
Right?
So, after hearing discussion, I'll call for a vote. That's okay with
I didn't get a second.
We did.
What's your
Well,
second?
Yeah,
We have a second on
Tana made the
Tanner's-
motion.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Doing option 3, so
Okay.
the vote on the table is to add option 3 into our charter
I'm sorry,
recommendations.
I realized it. I'm sorry.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
No.
No.
Aye. It's out. If you go to my handout,
I've done my job.
someone...
You did a great job.
And you did do a great job.
Someone at the public hearing brought up the minimum write-in votes, so I have it right here. We did vote it out. But since it was brought up at public hearing, I felt that we should just at least look at it. We voted this out, I believe, to remove it in January.
Okay, I would at this point, because we've addressed it several times, I will just, since we no longer have the second item of the select board and the board of selectmen, to just put it on red as a, let the town vote it up or down.
No, I don't know if I'd go red.
Well, it's already red.
Well,
Well, it's only red because it was the original color.
I
When we voted it out, I didn't change
I
the
think your expectation is to make it a separate article.
Yes,
Yes,
Yes.
with pros and cons.
Just like we have
the town clerk.
town clerk.
Wow.
This is going to be very time-consuming.
See, I was one of the minority votes to vote for it, but I think we beat it to death and
Yeah.
voted against it.
Yeah.
I don't think we should bring it up again.
I'm not supposed to give my opinion, but I would agree with you.
Why not?
Yes, you
No,
are.
it's chairperson.
No,
No, the chair can always give their opinion. You're just running the meeting. You're just facilitating the meeting
I
as
don't have
well,
an opinion.
as
Well,
None of
participating.
us strong.
Then, I would entertain a motion if anyone wanted to, this is already out, but if anyone would like to make a motion to put it back in,
I would.
is there a second? Upon hearing no second, it is out. You don't have to worry about that one. All right, so, town clerk, we beat this to death. It's in there, if the town...
Could I speak to that topic?
Yes,
just a moment?
please.
The chair circulated a lot of data on town clerk. I don't know if anybody's had an opportunity to look at it. I'd just like to...
Oh, here, okay.
That's my handout, so let me tell you how I got there.
Okay.
I had seen a lot of that data. I had volunteered to do the...
I'm okay, you can keep it if you want.
I had volunteered to do the appointed point of view.
Okay.
And I don't know who had volunteered to do the elected point of view. You did.
Phyllis.
Okay. I looked through all that stuff, and Phyllis, you can disagree with me on this, but I had looked through it before the chair sent it out. Almost all of those were written by town clerks. All right? And they were written by town clerks, some of whom have been appointed and some of whom have been elected. And for the most part, and probably unanimously, they believed that the best way to do it is the way that they got there. So the ones that were appointed thought that was the best way, and they had a number of reasons, and the ones that were elected thought that was the best way, okay? In looking at all that pros and cons, the one that I handed out, I believe, is kind of the most objective, that shows pros and cons for all four things. Certainly we can tweak it, all right? But as somebody who was going to be the advocate or the author of the appointed, I believe the only item is the technical qualifications. All right, the pro for appointed is that it's a job that requires a certain specific skill set. And all the people that wrote in the material that the chair sent out were already town clerks. They knew how to do the job, whether they got there by being appointed or elected. You know, they knew how to do the job. So they discounted that one thing. All right. This, I believe, this chart kind of talks to, the pro of appointed is you can check technical competency, and then the last bullet on the pro is that you can actually maintain that technical competency through professional qualifications and training, etc. All the rest of them fall pretty much the way you would imagine. Accountability to the voters. The cons on that side are they're not part of a group that gets their salaries looked at, as an employee group and get updated regularly and all that kind of stuff. I would recommend that this be what goes to the voters. By the same token, I'd also at least throw on the table that with the announcement that our current clerk is running for re-election, I think the wording that we came up with on town council's recommendation is that this wouldn't take effect till the end of that 3-year term anyway.
Correct.
I'm not sure if this is worth having a bloodbath over. I just want to throw it out there. I mean,
That we just remove it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think we should, actually.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that we actually voted to put it in after we reorganized, which was...
So that's what we're going to be here today. We're going to vote it yes, let's put it in, or no, let's not, and leave it as is.
And I'm not one to buy into conspiracy theories as far as, as Jim alluded to with, people feeling like, I get the same feedback from people around town, they're trying to do this, I don't buy into any of it, but I feel like this position has functioned really well in town, and I don't see a compelling reason to take that position from the voters.
I see that we've been lucky in terms of somebody who understands what needs to be done. I also see it, national levels or even some local races where people who are not qualified are elected.
But that's a double-edged sword too, because if you appoint somebody once they're an employee, there's a whole process that you have to go through to get rid of them, whereas at an election
you can.
Right, but if you're in a position for 3 years, you have 3 years to screw up election.
But you have a date.
A deadline. Well, there's also a recall.
There's recalls.
And the current town clerk will at some point retire. Maybe we revisit it when that happens. Because you can change the charter at any time if you want to.
But that requires a number of...
1,000 signatures.
1,000 signatures or something to get that done. So
But you can do it.
If the thought,
And not necessarily. It says that the charter is reviewed at least once every 10 years. It doesn't say it can't be reviewed more than
okay.
that.
The problem is that if it took us 3 years to get
To do
this...
We should start now.
Right.
You could have a
Table it for
limited
now and then start right after the election.
But you could have a limited charter review and just look at that one item. You get to form a committee. And, because, I looked at a lot of the documentation on elected versus appointed, and there are a lot of communities that set up task forces, and they look at not only that, but other positions in town, so you could actually do an in-depth, research on it. If you were aware that the current town clerk was
Right.
retiring. I just think it's too emotional an issue. She's been town clerk for 30 years.
So Phyllis, are you entertaining a motion that we keep the charter as is
I
in
am.
reference to the town clerk?
I am.
Is there someone here who would second that?
Tanner did. Tanner just...
You notice I'm moving this along. I am moving this along.
Yes.
As a committee, does everyone feel that we've discussed this enough that they can make an informed decision on this,
Issue.
no, what do you call this, not a proposal?
This article?
This article.
For discussion purposes.
Please.
This has been out for the whole 18 months that we've been doing this. It's been out, and people have really got themselves into a froth about
Yes.
it, on one side or the other. I think we did a lot of good work tonight to clean it up to the point where people are going to be able to vote or amend on a very narrow scope and not have at the whole charter. If we take this totally off, those folks that want to have an appointed town clerk will have no way to address that at this town meeting.
Correct.
I just want that to be
Correct.
understood.
and I'm of the opinion that it should still go to the voters.
I'm not sure I'm there yet, but
Yeah, I think it's not the time. Someday, not today.
It may, as you said, we've been discussing it for a year and a half. People have opinions on both sides, and their voices should be heard.
And they're looking forward to coming to town meeting.
They are not.
To give them the voice to not vote.
Some of them aren't even going to show up.
If we vote,
We want you to vote and take away your power to vote.
Right.
yeah, right.
if this passes, then this entire thing goes away, and town clerk just stays
As is.
written, and at town meeting, it cannot be opened, because it will be on the...
Beyond the scope.
Thank you.
scope of the-
I'm working hard here. Beyond the scope of what our recommendations. If we vote to keep our recommendation to have basically the town decide at town meeting, and if you decide to appoint it, these are the changes that have to be made. Because that's all we've done. As we've said, if the town decides to vote as an appointed, these are the changes that would have to be made in the charter to make that happen. We have to give that to them. If they vote not to change, then it just stays as is.
But, Tanner did mention that, I'm not sure we ever took the vote on whether we should,
I know, but we're discussing.
And the other thing is, I'm not sure we ever discussed the caveats that the town council put in that said, grandfathering and all that stuff. So they're open items.
We only talked about the grandfathering, but we never voted on this.
And basically, and again, this is one that I've been on the fence about since the beginning. And I think, and my sense of it as an appointed position had a lot to do with, I thought that they should be treated as an employee of the town because that entitled them to more protections. But since, basically you can be the town clerk and not show up at work ever and still be the town clerk is just kind of an interesting kind of a concept I hadn't considered. Well, it's true. I mean, basically, you don't have sick time and you don't have vacation time because you don't have to show up and you're still going to get a check.
Right.
And yes, we have been very lucky. And yes, we have had somebody who's incredibly dedicated. And I also think that it's true that in the next few years, We're going to probably want to revisit the charter anyway, because I think that ranked choice voting is coming.
Yes.
And I think that we'll probably have to amend our charter to accommodate that. And I think that's coming in the next 3 to 5 years.
State may do it for us, but
Right, they may do it for us, and if they do, then maybe it's not a charter change anyway.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, and being informed by the fact that Kathy is running for another 3 years.
We know she's
By
gonna-
default, at that point, you're 7 years away from a normal review of the charter anyway.
Right.
And you may be, if Kathy ran for an additional 3 years and then stops, now you're 3 years into you're very close to the 3 years into the next person, and you may have a better opinion as to, oh, this is still working out or not working out or
How
whatever.
will this vote go?
I have to say that I initially was in favor of appointing the position. I felt we've grown the town to a size where having a trained and experienced professional to do that job has become important. However, I've heard all the arguments, I've read all the material, I sense that there's a clear sentiment in town to keep it as an elected position. And my position has changed. I would vote to keep it elected, just because of where Lunenburg is in our collective thought process. I don't think we're ready for that change. I think the day will come where
It will happen.
it will happen.
And I have to agree with you, because you just said exactly my thought process over the last 18 months. Because I agree with Terry, I felt employees, elected officials, it should be two different things. But the sentiment in the town and various other things, I agree with you. See, I can have an opinion.
See what happens when you have an opinion?
Yeah, that's my opinion, okay?
All right,
So, are we-
No, what are you going to say, Terry?
the motion is...
Well, Terry had something to say.
I don't have anything to say.
The way it is.
To keep it the way it is and make no change
no change.
in the...
So we withdraw the article.
To remove
withdraw.
all the town clerk discussion from the warrant.
Yeah.
Is the motion.
Keep it as...
And it's been seconded.
Yeah.
We're discussing it.
So
I'm
moved, seconded.
Move to vote?
Moved, seconded.
Oh, we have a move.
Just one more time. Do we have an unintended consequence where somebody's going to say that they can't even amend it and discuss it? Is there a group of people in town that feel strongly enough the other way that are going
Well,
to
I
feel
think at this point, they now have enough time to get enough signatures to put their own article on the warrant.
Well, no.
So how many signatures do they need?
I don't know.
I'm not sure you can,
Can they change the charter?
I don't think you can do a charter by, a charter change by citizen petition.
That's to petition to...
To update it.
Review
To
the
review the
charter.
Yeah, I don't think it's easy.
If it's not, if the town...
It's not easy, I don't think you can get it done in a week and a half or 2 weeks or whatever's
No.
left.
So, the query is,
And
we have announced that we
I'm going to vote with you. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of the blowback that we've been, for 18 months, we've been saying this is going to be on the ballot, it's going to be a town meeting, and then all of a sudden we come out and say, we decided it's elected, and by the way, you can't do anything at town meeting to change that.
And I think that's fine. And I think that basically, the reason why I think it's fine is that all we're doing is we're saying we're not making a charter change. If you
Right.
would like to change the charter, it's hard, but...
Go ahead.
But you can do it.
Have at it.
And I think the other thing is that, and again, I'll just go back to, and it may be that the town will have to visit in 3 to 5 years, because there's still a piece of me that the whole point of the second town meeting was to try to eliminate the need to go to a representative town meeting, because we don't have enough people showing up.
Right.
Now that we've taken that out, to me, that was a much bigger drop. Then I think we'll probably be moving to representative town government vote sooner than later, although that might get enough people sparked up and mad to be dragging their neighbors to the meeting, which would also be a good thing, right?
One article.
Yeah, there are, on this one.
As I said in
Yeah,
my...
if you're adding them.
Well, no, my first recommendation was a 2.5 override every meeting.
And then people would show up.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
And put it last.
Oh, my
As I
God.
said,
No,
in
you
public
pull it
hearing,
out at any point. You gotta be there, because at any point, we might pull that one out.
as I said in the public hearing, this recommendation
The roving
is going
article.
to be a compromise. And not everyone is going to be happy with everything, but it is a compromise. So before we take this vote, do you feel that this is a good compromise? So that's that one last.
I feel I can support this recommendation.
And the recommendation is to leave the charter as...
Well, I can basically, let me put it this way, we'll take that vote, and whatever comes out of this product, I feel I can support, so that's...
Yeah, I was going to mention
however
the
this
whole
vote-
product,
yes.
though, but let's on this.
Yes.
Okay, we all have to be in agreement then, if we decide to keep it as is, we have to be in
Supermajority.
It's supermajority. Yeah, it has to be a supermajority. Okay, if you're ready for the vote. All in favor of keeping, leaving the charter in reference to the town clerk as is with no change, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay?
Nay.
So we have two. Oh, no, we
Well,
have
we
to
don't
take
need
a vote.
100%, so you're fine. 'cause you have-
Supermajority, okay, so we
that's
do
fine.
have a supermajority
Just for the record.
for the record.
Yeah.
Okay, now, we have just spent 3 hours, and we have gone through this. Yeah, we've done a really nice job, and I want to thank everyone for that. And I'm not going to say, is there anything we need to revisit? Tomorrow morning, I am going to wake up, and I'm going to make all of these changes. No, I need to tell you the process here. The lawyer, legal counsel, I'm going to send him all these changes. All right? Do you want me to email you the document I send to legal counsel?
No, email us when it comes back.
Yeah.
Well, because there's concerns about, we can't discuss anything that I sent.
Correct.
We had a whole bunch of caveats on that. All right, I will then, if it's okay with, I'll make a motion to cancel Monday night's meeting, or should I leave it there?
Okay,
Ooh.
can we just do this?
Yes.
Because this is the last chance that we have to do anything before it goes to print, is that correct?
No, we could call an emergency meeting.
The only thing I wanted to do was to make a motion to recommend approval of the charter as we're presenting it to the town meeting. So that, just to see if
Just in
we can
case.
get
I just
a...
have one thing from notes that we're taking at the public hearing on section 32E. And I don't have it.
I can
It
bring
wasn't
it
on
up.
one of the slides.
Okay, I'll bring it up. Wait a minute.
Oh, was
I
that
have-
something that we weren't changing?
That was the one where they suggested to file the reports with the town clerk, as the keeper of the records.
I can bring it up.
I don't remember who mentioned it, but it was public comment.
You had to wait till I turned off the...
32E?
It's not in the changes, that's why you're not...
No, I'm looking at the original. Oh, okay, it's investigations.
Yeah, right.
The Board of Selectmen may make investigations and may authorize town manager to investigate the affairs of the town and the conduct of any town agency, including any doubtful claims against the town. The report of the results of such investigation shall be placed on file in the office of the Board of Selectmen, and a report summarizing the results of such investigation shall be printed in the next annual town report.
Right, so the comment that was made at the microphone was that the town clerk is the record keeper.
As opposed to the office of the Board of
Report should go to the
Selectmen.
town clerk, not the office of the Board of Selectmen.
You know what, and I have that in my notes somewhere.
I'm sure we do. You asked us all to remind you.
And I think I did, didn't I do
Well,
that?
you could say, the town clerk's office, we have it both ways.
32E,
I don't know, is it the full report, and is that why it wasn't going to be filed with the town?
Well, the results of the investigation goes to the Board of Selectmen, and the summary goes in the next annual town report, so that's public.
Well,
the
public
summary
may or may not include
Keep the
names.
town report?
Yeah.
But he's already doing it.
She has the summary.
Yes, but the original might have private information. you know?
I think that's the point.
I think the point is
Right.
executive, like names and
Right.
stuff like that.
And that's why the
And the
summary would go to
summary
the
is
That's why it
town.
stays with the Board of
Right.
Selectmen?
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
my guess, as a personnel action or
But
something.
the town clerk will have the summary
Right.
once it goes to town meeting. Okay. Cool. All right.
So we're saying...
Nothing, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Okay, so,
Do you want to we should make that official and vote to not make a change?
We didn't even vote to bring it up to make a motion to make
It
a
wasn't
change.
even on the
Well,
agenda.
all right, I'll accept the motion. Yeah,
So what?
You're right,
We
okay.
don't have to deal with it.
And we will
Make a motion.
We're going to go over public comment.
Okay, go ahead, make the
So
motion.
I'll move that we do no changes to section 32E regarding the suggestion of filing report.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Now, I would entertain a motion to accept the charter as amended tonight.
I think,
Our recommendation is amended.
make a recommendation.
Our recommendation is amended tonight to send to legal counsel. Or do I need to say to
so
send?
moved.
Well, and
No, I don't need to do
I just
that.
wanted a
Just for-
recommendation for...
I just want to say that we agree to our changes tonight.
Okay, and my
Yeah.
only question along those lines is, we're doing purple, brown.
That's it.
We don't have any
Oh,
red.
okay.
There is no red.
Okay.
We have
He is going to love that.
eliminated
Two articles.
red.
Two articles.
Okay. And there's no changes that we feel council
Yeah.
might kick
He
back?
is, no,
He already kicked them back, I think.
he kicked back some already and we took them
Okay.
out.
I'm just thinking if we vote to approve it and then...
Oh, well, I think we're just
he
voting.
changes
Well, we've already done that.
Yeah, we don't have-
Piecemeal.
we don't have-
And I'm thinking, might be nice just to say, as a committee,
We're done.
that we have voted and made our recommendations,
And our charge is
and we're
done.
going to move forward.
Well, I think we haven't made our recommendations, and that's why. We've made our
You feel that, huh?
recommendations for the document.
Right.
I think all I want to do is vote whether we're going to recommend, how we're going to recommend to town meeting and whether...
And I will find that out from legal counsel.
Well, that's why I was thinking that I wanted to just take a vote that we as a committee recommend this charter as revised to the town meeting.
Someone second that. She said it well.
I'd feel better if I could read the legal counsel final version.
Okay, so
Oh,
then
you
we'll
will?
meet again. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we'll meet again.
You don't want this to end, do you?
No, I do.
No, but you know what? Cole, it's a good
We
point.
gotta make sure that the final
Tanner, oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
It's your son.
Jamie didn't
Someone-
want to leave
no.
anyway.
I got nothing
Oh,
to
that's
do
right.
on Wednesday.
But at some point, they may ask us to get together to make sure. I will be obviously emailing you whatever town council says, so you'll get all of that. All right,
Mr. Chair, can I just indulge the group for 2 minutes?
go for it.
The Board of Selectmen is in the process of trying to decide what town meeting looks like.
Yes.
In terms of timing and et cetera. And it was recommended by the moderator and actually this group,
Me.
through the chair, that it be separated into a Saturday and a Monday night. There's been a lot of pushback. We're leaning towards starting Saturday morning, going as long as we need to go, and we're probably going to, I don't want to speak for the board, but we're probably going to say, and if it needs to be continued, we will continue it either to Monday night, which is what our tradition has been, or the following Saturday, all up in the air. I have a feeling what we did tonight took a large chunk of the controversy
Yes.
out of it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I'm now feeling even more comfortable that we're
Right, and I was-
we're going to reserve some rooms in case we have to extend, but we're going to try to just go through and not split it up. Does this group have any major objection to that?
No, I think that's better.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
And when we're ordering the warrant, we were
Put it first.
trying to put...
It doesn't matter because
After.
the moderator will take it out.
Well, we can't put, you see, that's the thing we're going to have to push back on, different meeting. But the first 15 articles, we need to run the town, otherwise you have one of these closed down,
Right.
the town, you can't pay anybody kind of
Right,
deal.
right.
So we'll work the ordering at our next meeting. But we'll try not to set this up as marijuana and this and the controversies they're going to take all day, because I
Right.
think we got a lot of that out of it
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, and hopefully in terms of marijuana, people understand that at town meeting, it's really only do you let it go to the ballot? And
Right.
you can formulate whatever opinions you want.
Right.
On
Right.
6 of those articles, it's just the prohibition. Do you want to give people the ability to vote against at the ballot? And so our discussion really should just revolve around the bylaws, and hopefully people have a pretty good understanding.
Yeah, you'll just have to explain to them that this vote means that it's going on the ballot.
It doesn't
Right.
prohibit
Because
anything,
any-
all it does is put it on a ballot.
Right.
My feeling, my feeling is you're gonna have the whole for and against marijuana discussion, but you probably only have to have that once, you don't have to have it several
Well, that's
times.
Right,
I would
right,
hope.
right.
And the only reason I'm saying clarified is because there are people who, if they're new to town meeting,
Yeah.
will not have a clue that what the relationship between the ballot and the town meeting is. Because I remember my first town meeting, okay, so are we voting to vote?
It's confusing too,
Yeah.
because they have to vote positively to prohibit it.
Right.
They have to vote yes,
Yes.
to
Right.
prohibit it on the ballot. So it's, yeah, we're going to have to be very clear about that.
So are we having a meeting on Monday, or are we having a
No,
meeting?
no, we're Monday.
Okay, we're.
I'm
getting rid
going
of
to
Monday's
postpone the meeting.
So we have a motion on the table
To accept the document.
changes to the charter as voted this evening and to recommend approval at town meeting. And it has been duly seconded.
I move to, let's vote.
Okay, well, part of the discussion was that there was some need to wait until after the legal...
Would you amend yours to not...
I will
include town-
withdraw. I will withdraw my motion.
Who seconded that? Yes. All right, so you have to withdraw.
I'll
Okay.
withdraw my second.
I just...
All right. So that's out. All right, so we are,
That never happened.
I will cancel Monday's meeting. If everyone just understands that we may have to meet one more time if there's things that have to be...
I thought we had a...
Well, the other
I
thing...
think we have to meet at least one more time when we see what comes
27th,
back,
right?
right?
But I may
Yeah,
have it by Monday, but I may not have it by Monday, so...
We have a 27th scheduled.
Let's put it this way.
Here.
If it comes back with no changes, I think that if we want to just meet like 10 minutes
Well,
before town
we
meeting...
can't meet the 27th because it has to be put in by the 25th to be printed.
So why do we have that?
So basically, if we just plan to meet 10 minutes before town meeting, if there's no changes. If there's a
Right.
changes...
So we're saying we're not meeting the 27th, the 10th, or the 24th?
Okay,
We
yeah,
don't
let's...
Is that what you're saying?
Can I delete those all from my calendar?
Oh, okay, never mind. No,
Oh,
Mark's got that look on his face that says, no, let's not do that.
Well, we kind of leaped to that pretty quickly.
That's like, well,
No.
why do we have those
No,
on the
no.
calendar? We can't
We're
do
going to need,
anything.
we're going to need at least one of them to plan town meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so let's vote that night whether we're going to recommend
Yeah, right,
support or not, whatever
Yeah.
one you think.
Absolutely,
Right?
and thank you
So,
very much.
do you want me to...
I'm sorry, I'm already at...
Which day are we meeting?
So,
27?
I am going to cancel Monday.
Monday, right?
I'm going to cancel the 27th, the 10th, and the 24th.
No, we got
No,
to
we
keep one
gotta
of them.
keep one of
Keep
those.
one of them. Which one would you like to keep?
I don't know. I don't have my
I'm unavailable the 27th.
sports calendar.
and the 24th.
Well, let's cancel the 27th if you're
Yeah, let's
available.
definitely cancel the 27th.
Okay.
I think April.
10th?
Why don't we keep 10th open for now?
Yeah.
Okay?
And if we can't have a quorum, or if we have new information, or whatever else, then we talk about whether we meet on the 10th or not. Leave the 10th and 24th on the calendar.
Good.
Okay.
I'm not here on the 10th. I won't be here on the 10th.
Recommend.
Oh, I'll be here late on the 10th.
Before it goes.
To print.
We can't.
So the 24th is a
It's a
school
Monday.
committee meeting.
Right.
Yeah,
We don't
we're all
always
scheduled.
have legal
Right.
that.
Oh, okay.
So the 10th.
Yeah, the 10th would be
The
the...
April 10th?
April 10th
Yeah.
would be the best.
I will not be
Okay,
that
okay.
day.
The 24th,
So we'll have to start.
we're...
Why don't
We're
we
all
just schedule
scheduled
a
for
meeting
the
later?
vacation week.
yeah.
I don't know
Okay.
when my musical rehearsal will end. Could be 8 o'clock. Don't. No?
Okay.
All right, so we're going to meet the 10th.
I will be...
10th.
We'll leave the
Right.
10th as the date that we will need. And if we find we don't need the date, we can always cancel it, correct?
God, if I'm already this left happy, it's going to be full tomorrow
Cancel.
night. You're going to have John show
I have to
meeting.
cancel the Monday one, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I can do that.
You've posted an agenda, so you have to...
6 or 8 hours.
Tell the town hall, withdraw, and I'll withdraw the date
I'm gonna go.
from the calendar. Trust me.
You don't have to
The
worry.
calendar is quite...
Just basically...
Yeah, I'll be there.
On the agenda,
Oh, I
we
can't.
check right in.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
She'll take care of you.
So before we adjourn, public comment?
Yep. So, public comment?
I want to thank you very much for all your hard work and listening to me all this time. And congratulate you on a great job tonight. I mean, you really did a good job.
I got a lot to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what words I'd love to hear right now?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All right. Well, and I decide we're not going to vote on that.